whatever you. All right. Well, I just want to welcome everyone to this workshop. I know that since I've been here, I've been hearing requests for this type of workshop, the simple remedies, the hydrotherapy, all the things that we practice and know to do to help people with their body's own internal mechanism that God has given us to help heal itself. So that's the purpose of this workshop, to help you, to give you some tools with some of the things that we have that we can do at home to help our immune system, to help our injuries, and even some of our diseases and things that we have that we can treat ourselves at home. And once we learn these things, we can also use these to help others, to help our neighbors and our friends and our family and things like that. So that's the main reason why I wanted to do this workshop. I also want to state right off the bat that we are not doctors. This is not medical advice per se. This is definitely, you know, if you have a serious illness that you are suffering with, you want to consult with your doctor before using some of these things. But we are going to be showing you some demonstrations of hydrotherapy and some herbals, some tea, some poultices, some compresses, and different things we use and what they're used for, just with simple household items that you have, or they're easy to get if you don't have. And we're going to give you, show you different options of how to do what we're doing. In case you don't have that, we're going to give you other ideas about how you can use this yourself. So before we begin, I would like to start with a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for this day. We thank you so much for this workshop. Bless all the people that have come out for it. Father, I just pray that you will be with us. We invite your Holy Spirit to be here with us as we share these things, and as we also recognize you as the great physician, and that you have given us all these simple remedies to aid us in helping others and reaching others and helping them with their illnesses through the simple remedies and things that you have given us. So we thank you and we praise you in Christ's name. Amen. All right, so we have given you a few handouts to start with. I think you're probably going to be getting some more as we go along, but I am just going to talk about the simple use of water today in the form of fomentation, hydrotherapy, hot foot baths, and different things like that that can be used for many different things. You have in front of you one that has a hot foot bath, and it tells you a lot of things that it can be used for, why we do a hot foot bath, and then you have one that has the fomentation and how and why we use that. These are not extensive. There are so many other reasons to use these. I want to give you a website. You have it on each one of your handouts there. These, I have just simply pulled these from a website and an institution called UT Pines. So it's one of our treatment centers that we have. It's also a training place that you can go and get trained in all of these things. And those are physicians there that are training you in the use of these things. So UT Pines Lifestyle Center, they have a telephone number, and then that's the website. You can go to this website, and one of the things I love about this website is they have, it's called counseling sheets. So you go to the counseling sheets, and it has a little search bar, and you can practically search anything that you're suffering from or that you want to treat, or a treatment that you heard of but you don't remember how to use it. That's where I printed these off from. The hot foot bath, the fomentations, and then we're going to have another one. It's a little more extensive in how hydrotherapy is used, who should use it, who shouldn't use it, and it's about 11 pages long. Everyone is going to get one of those to take with you because it has a lot of wonderful information. If this is something that piques your interest, you know, and you want to learn more about it, that's what these counseling sheets are for. But I want to go ahead and get into the demonstrations. So I'll be telling you a little bit about each one of them as we start. So what I want to start with is I want to go ahead and start just with a compress. It's called a heat compress, and I'm going to get Darlin to come up here. Darlin. You know, we're from the South. I can't help but say Darlin, you know? It's Darlin. Okay, so we're going to do what's called a heat compress, and which is funny because we start a heat compress with, this is 100% cotton. I just buy these at Walmart. They're the little kitchen towels that are just 100% cotton. So we want to use as many natural materials as we possibly can when we do these treatments. So we start a heat compress with ice water. Go figure. So we want to get a cold cloth like that, and you want to wring it out very well, and you don't want to have it dripping. You know, just damp, just wet it. And then this is really good for a few things, probably more than I even know. That's another thing. You know, we're not professionals here. This is just something that we've had experience in, used in our own families, all of those that are demonstrating up here. Some of us are probably more professional than others. But I did learn a lot about hydrotherapy when I was in Weimar, California. And I went I took a program there that taught us a lot of these simple remedies. And then I went to work for them, and I worked in the health program, which is an acronym for Health Evangelism and Training for Him. So I learned a lot there and continued to learn the whole time I was there for 3.5 years. And we used a lot of these treatments. So this one, it's very cold at first. So let's say you have a sprain or a really torn ligament, sore muscles, any kind of injury like that. So what you want to do is you want to start with the wet pack, like this. And then you want to cover that with plastic. And you want the plastic to cover over the compress. So you want it on both sides. So, you just cover the plastic first. Now, another way that you can use this is if you have a sore throat, you can put this around the neck at night. Also, if you are have a cold or a fever or something like that, you can do what's called a wet sheet pack, and you can do this to the entire body, like by taking a cotton sheet, putting it in water, and it doesn't necessarily have to be ice water, but cool water. Wring out the sheet so it's not dripping and wrap the body in that. Then you're not going to wrap them in plastic after that, or you could use like a curtain for a shower curtain, a very thin liner you get like at the Dollar Tree or something like that. And then you're going to wrap a blanket around them. But this is just a small demonstration, and it works in different areas of the body. So once you have it covered like that, then you can cover it with pieces of wool. You can cover it with an old cotton flannel shirt that you might have. Anything that's going to hold that warmth in. This is what I like to use. I like to use a simple like ace bandage, and you can cut these things. You don't have to keep it as long as it is. So what we would do is we would cover, and you don't want it too tight. You don't want to cut off circulation. You just want it to hold in the warmth there. And so then you would, do we have scissors out here? We had some scissors. Thank you. And then you would just pin that on. And then you would sleep with it. And the same with the wet sheet pack. You would sleep at night. So what's going to happen is your own body temperature is going to heat that. The first layer that we put in, it's going to heat it up. And that's going to bring a lot of circulation, the white blood cells that are needed, oxygenated blood. Thank you. Let me just cut that. And then you would just pin that on to hold it on. And then if you were doing it for a sore throat, for your child that has a sore throat, they have tonsillitis, they have something like that going on where the throat is inflamed, you would do the same process, but just use some wool socks. You could take a wool sock, and again, not tight, just enough to keep that warm, and pin it. And then they would sleep with this through the night. And in the morning, usually the sore throat is gone. It helps bring healing to this injured area quickly, and it does that. So all the things of hydrotherapy is a process of creating circulation. So I heard a doctor one time say, perfect health depends on perfect circulation. So a lot of times when we have an injured area, there's lots of inflammation, and it stays stagnant in that injured area, and it's not moving around. So the purpose of hydrotherapy is to get that blood flowing. So our blood contains the oxygen that our body needs. So the oxygenated blood comes into that area. There's a lot of push and pull with this, with hydrotherapy, when we use, especially when we use contrast. So we're opening up the area. We're helping our own body speed up the healing is what we're doing. If it's painful, it's going to bring pain relief. And it's going to bring healing to that injured area. So this is called a compress, and there's more about compresses in the other sheet that you're going to get handed out in different ways to use that. Does anyone have any questions about this? Okay. Wool is the best thing to cover that up on the neck, but it doesn't have to be. It can be, like I said, an old cotton flannel shirt that you have, just maybe do a couple of layers. Something like this, though, especially with a child, it has give. So you're not being restrictive and getting, you want to have it loosely, but cover the cold. So you're holding that in so that even on the neck, you can loosely do the plastic. It holds the cold, it holds the wet in, and it helps your body to heat it up faster. And then over the plastic, you're going to put the wool or the flannel or something like that that keeps it warm and holds it in. So that is a compress that we can use in many ways. I'm going to go ahead and take it off of you. And then we're going to do, the next thing I want to show you is the hot foot bath and the contrast bath. Okay, so she's asking about we sleep with it at night, and what if we wanted to do it during the day? Yes, we would leave it on for a couple of hours or until it's dry, and then we would take it off. So this is already very warm just from being on that little bit of time. Even though we started with ice, it's really warm. So, okay, so we have that. And Miss Darlin, you're going to sit right here with foot bath. And I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. So there's a couple of things we do with the hot foot bath. So I'm going to heat it up in just a second. There's a hot foot bath that you can do that helps with any kind of pain or inflammation in the pelvic area, in the stomach area. It also helps tremendously with headaches. For those types of things, you can use just the hot foot bath, not the contrast. So you're going to use just the hot foot bath, and a hot foot bath can last anywhere from, it needs to be at least 20 minutes, but usually if you can keep it going for about 45 minutes, that's good in the hot water. So you're going to start with about 105 degrees, and we have a thermometer, just a digital thermometer or any kind of thermometer, or just use your hand. Now, who cannot do this? You don't want to do this on someone that's suffering from diabetes and they have a loss of feeling in the feet. You can still do a contrast on them, but you're going to do it very gentle. Or someone that is paralytic, someone that is unconscious, something like that. You don't want to do this type. But it sure does bring quick relief. When I was in California, my mother suffered from a lot of really bad stomach cramps. Her stomach cramps were so bad, she always said it felt like she was having labor pains. And they were horrible. And they would start very early in the morning, and she would call me in tears. And so then when she called me and I was learning about all this, what she would do, and sometimes heat does bring relief, but sometimes when you're hurting for that long and that bad, you're keeping the inflammation here with just keeping the heat on it. So what we want to do is that push and pull of the blood, and we want to bring fresh blood to that area. So what happens when we do a contrast, it pulls the blood away from that area, and it helps to bring relief. And so I told my mom, who happened to be by herself, and she didn't have any help in doing this. So I told her, in between her runs to the bathroom or whatever, if she could at some point set her up some ice water, a bowl with ice water, and then I told her to just turn the hot water on in her bathtub. So she could sit on the edge of her bathtub, put her feet in the hot water, and then take a towel, just a small hand towel, put this in the ice water, wring it out, and then put the ice pack on the stomach where you're having the cramping. So this is going to open up the blood vessels in the feet and help to pull that blood away. The first time she did this, she called me back in tears and said, "I can't believe how quickly this worked." And it completely took every bit of those pain and cramps away like that. So these are proven things that work. So especially I love to do the hot foot bath for women that are suffering, that have really bad menstrual cramps. They help a lot with that. And also the foot bath helps with people that suffer from chronic headaches. They're really good with that. So you can use this to test it out. And you always want to have some extra ice on hand if you're doing a contrast. And you want to have the tea kettle so that you can keep your water hot. So like I said, there's two ways to do it. There's the hot foot bath, but we're going to do the contrast. The hot foot bath is what I just explained to you, was just keeping the feet in the hot water. Keep a kettle by you. You start it off, if you're doing just the hot water, you want to start it off at about 105. And then once you have it at 105 and they put their feet in, you want to raise that temperature up as they can take it. So up to like 110 degrees, or even higher if they can take it. This is why I said you never do it with someone with diabetes. So we want to get this a little bit hotter. I had this ready already ahead of time. Okay. Now I got it a little too hot, but I'm not sure your feet can take that all at once. So go ahead. How is that? You always want to ask them too how it is. Is this too hot? If it is too hot, they can raise their feet up a little bit until their feet get used to it. Okay, so then they stay in the hot water, and they do this for about 3 minutes. So they keep their feet there in that, and then we put it in the ice water for about 30 seconds. And then we're going to switch back to the hot water. So you always have some extra ice so you can keep that water cold, because her hot feet will heat that water up quick. So we want to make sure it stays cold. And also then there's always cold water getting back in here when you're switching back and forth. So that's why you want to have a tea kettle. You want to keep it. Anytime you're going to add hot water, you're going to move their feet out of the way. You're going to help, and you're going to put it in a certain area. If they're able and young enough, like this young lady is, you can just ask them to raise their feet. And you can put it in there, and you'll swish it around and make it warmer. So with the hot foot bath that you do for at least 20 minutes to 45 minutes, there's not a contrast like this. There's just hot water. But at the end, you want to have a pitcher of cold water, because you're going to lift their feet up, and you're going to pour the cold water over like this. Then dry the feet off really well, put some nice socks on, and then always after hydrotherapy, you go and rest somewhere. Now also when we're doing just the hot foot bath, and not the contrast, you always want to make sure they stay hydrated. So you always want to have water to give them. This is another treatment that you can use if you're going to do a tent around them to help produce a fever. You would use the hot foot bath, and you would do the blankets with this under them. This would probably be a little bit back. You could also make it steam, and you can have another pot of steam underneath them as you wrap them up, and that's going to produce a fever. Then you're going to have a cold pack for the head and the back of the neck. But you don't want to put the cold pack on in the beginning. You want to wait till the fever is produced. So when they're starting to sweat, that's when you're going to put the cold. And you're just going to have just a small cloth like this. So you can put one over the head like this. You can put another one on the back of the neck like this. Because you always want to keep the head cool anytime you're making it hot. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have her switch to the cold for about 30 seconds. I'm going to scoot this over so you don't have to. That's okay. Usually you can just use a timer on your phone or something like that. You will use. So, and this is just for demonstration purposes, so we're not going to be exact on our time or anything like that. I just want you to see it in action as it worked. And then we put back over here. All right. And then how is that? The other thing I forgot to mention, anytime you're doing these home remedies at home, you're doing the hydrotherapy with the foot baths, or you're doing the fomentations, you always start with a prayer, because we always want to invite the Holy Spirit, and because this is God's remedies, not ours. And we ask him to aid us in the things that he has given us to use, and he always shows up. So then you just keep a check on your water. See if we need to heat it up a little bit. You don't want it to get under 105. 104, 105, make sure it stays there. So this one is still pretty good. It'll be good for another round. You can do shorter demonstrations or back and forth. You can do quicker ones than that. Sometimes, especially if it's a sprain, we want to do quicker back and forth, so maybe just a couple of minutes in the hot, 30 seconds in the cold, back to the hot, back and forth. Anytime you have a sprain or something like that, for the first 24 hours, though, we only want to use ice. We want to use ice or ice water on a sprain, and then after that, you want to use the fomentation, because that is going to bring healing much quicker. You're speeding up your white blood cells. You're increasing those, you're increasing the circulation, and the oxygenated blood is flowing. So what happens when we put in the hot water is the vessels are opening up, and then when we put them in the cold water, it restricts them. Go ahead and switch. How cold is that? Is it bad? It's okay. It's cold. Usually by the last round, it is much easier. The first time is a big shock. Okay. Now, you always, whether it's a contrast shower, contrast bath, contrast foot bath, whatever it is, we always end on cold. Never end on the hot, unless you're just doing a fever bath, hot bath. Even then, sometimes we want to just do a little bit of cool water to cool you down. But the one time you would not use cold water is if you're using it for a sedative. You have insomnia, you can't sleep. Hot bath is always good, or a hot fomentation on the spine. And that helps to bring relaxation. And it brings like a sedative, and it helps you to to go to sleep easier. Now we'll have a towel ready. And then go ahead for the last one. Does anyone have any questions about this? Like I said, your handouts and things that you're going to get is going to give a lot more information than I can tell you. I'm just going off from my practical uses of what I've used it for, but there are much more uses than what I'm telling you. Okay. And then, when this treatment is over, then you want to wrap your feet up really well and always rest after hydrotherapy and always keep yourself hydrated. So, thank you, darling. Okay, so for my last demonstration, I'm going to have Miss Donna come up here, and we're going to do a fomentation treatment on her. So let's say, here, yes, get comfortable. Now, you can do this in somebody's home right in their own bed. And so what I have here is what you'll bring with you is a shower liner that you can put just right over the top of their bed. It keeps their bed from getting wet. You put that down, have another sheet that you brought that you can lay over that so it's comfortable for them. I didn't think to bring you a pillow, I'm sorry. Okay, so what I have here, do I have my towels? Okay, so you could put one, go ahead and sit back up, Miss Donna. We're going to put a fomentation pad underneath her. So I'm going to put the towel down. Now, I have these fomentation pads. They're really, really hot. They're super hot. So how did I heat those up? There's a couple of ways you can heat this up. You never want to put this straight on a person. You want to cover it up. So, just because we're not at home in the bed, normally I would do this one long ways, but she's a short person, so we don't want it to go up into her head or anything like that, so we're going to lay it out this way, and then she can lay back down. And this one's just going to keep that upper part warm for her. Now, you don't have to have, these are some fomentation pads that I got a while back. You can use towels. You can wet your towels, wring them out. This is a fomentation pad that I got. You can make yourself. You know, it's just cotton done in like a quilt, like. Miss Donna, go ahead and put your legs down. You could also put the feet in hot water while you're doing this. This also helps, but I only used that procedure once when I was treating someone that was suffering from lupus really bad. And she had a lot of pain. And so, depending on what the affected area is, if we're treating the stomach, if we're treating the chest, or we can just do the whole area like this. But what you're going to do is when you lay this across, you want to make sure, like this towel isn't really that long, so I don't want it to burn her arm. So I'm going to ask her to put her arm up so it doesn't burn her arm. I ordered these from, I think it was called Massage Envy. It's a place where you can order massage chairs and tables and things like that. They also have these type of things. And then you want to hold that heat in. So you're going to put these are just cotton sheets. So we're going to put the cotton over, and then you want to put a blanket over. So the idea is to hold the heat in. Now, again, you would want to have some ice water that you can give them to drink because you want them to stay hydrated. You wouldn't put a cold rag right away because you're trying to get the body to heat up. Maybe on the second round, you can put an ice rag here on the forehead or on the back of the neck. Now, usually what I do when I'm doing this treatment here, same process. We get the room set up, we get all of our materials set up, and then we make sure that they're as comfortable as possible, and we always start with prayer. Now, I always also use my Pandora app on my phone, and I'm usually playing some instrumental hymnal music or something like that, something very relaxing and calming. I have the music playing, I've prayed over them, and then we begin the treatment. Now, how I heat these up, there's a couple of ways you can heat these up. So I take it, I get it wet, I roll it up, and you wring out as much water as you can because you don't want it dripping with water, you just want it wet. And why I like these is because, number one, they're heavy. They go into the crevices, you know. They're not stiff, so they really help a lot. The hot heat helps heat up nice, and it feels very nice and warm. It's better than a heating pad. It just works better. Like I said, you can use towels. So you would get your towel wet, you would roll it up in that fashion, you would squeeze out as much as you can, and then I just put them inside a Walmart bag because who knew how useful these Walmart bags would come in? They don't melt. So you can put your wet, rolled up towel or fomentation pad right in here, and you heat it up in the microwave. So I usually heat them up for about 6 minutes. Or 5 minutes, however long to get it really nice and hot. Usually it's so hot you're going to have to use tongs with them when you take them out. Another way, if you are a canner and you have a big canning pot, you still, same process. You would get it wet, wring it out, roll it up, and then stack them around in the steaming pot. You know, it has a rack under there, so they're going to be up. Put the lid on it, and you can heat them with steam like that. That's another way that you can heat them up. I find when I'm going into people's homes.
I need another towel under there.
Okay. That is the other thing. You always ask them, you know, how is it? Is it hot? Usually I'm not demonstrating to people, so. Okay, can you sit up? There we go. Yes. The other thing is, too, is you always want to check this one, too. Is it too hot?
No.
Okay, this one's fine. Okay, so keep checking that. You can check it even with your own hand to see how hot that is. There. Okay, so you heat them up, wrap them up in plastic, something that's going to keep them nice and hot so that you can use them one after the other. Now, for the cold water on this one, this is just terry cloth. You could use a kitchen towel, you know, such as this. You want something that's not real smooth because this is for what we call friction. So this is a cold mitten friction. I had a lady make these for me. You can go up to Michael's and you can buy, they sell terry cloth. And you could make this if you wanted, or you're just going to use one of these. So the purpose of this, so you get this one wet as well, and you wring it out. You don't want anything dripping with water, so you always wring out really well. Then you're going to have another towel because you want to dry off in between. Okay? So then you would pull this back. Now, if I was at Miss Donna's home, I would have skin contact. So then we would put the cold on. And then you are going to rub it like this. Well, you're trying to get that red to pop up on the skin. And so you're going to be doing a nice friction. I want to get her a little cold there because that was warm. That was really warm. Can you feel the cool?
Yeah.
Okay. She says yes, she can feel it. You didn't know your clothes were going to get wet today. So you just would create a nice friction there. And again, you would want to do this for about 30 seconds. So you're just kind of doing the skin like this, okay? Then when you were done with that, you would want to dry the skin really nice. Then you would take your next, and you're going to do 3 rounds. You would do 3 rounds of this. So then you would have three minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, somewhere in there. But 3 minutes is good. And then you're going to put your next one on. So usually I have these ready to go. I keep them in there while I'm doing the dimmer. See the steam coming off? You want it to stay really hot.
You put the cold on and did the friction there. Would that be on the stomach area, or would it depend on what?
It would be, she's asking when I put the cold on, would that be on the skin area? And yes, it would be direct skin contact that you would be putting the cold on. And so you're going to have as many towels as you can. Darlin has some wool. So the idea of these, generally, when I first had them, was when you get the hot like this, before you apply it, you wrap it. I wrap mine in towels, but it's better to wrap it in wool if you have it. And she ordered a blanket. She's going to show you in her demonstration. She ordered just some wool material right off of Amazon. And that's best for this because it's going to hold that heat in and it's not going to get like wet. Like the towels can get kind of wet when you're doing this. So the wool is much better. It holds that heat in, and you're going to wrap this whole thing up in that. I would wrap it up in a towel, but we use the extra one there, so that's okay. And then you would just cover them up again. And then you're going to keep asking them, is it too hot? How is that? How's that, Donna? Would you like a drink of water? Give them the water. Make sure you always have a straw with your cup so they don't have to get up. So you're going to administrate give them the water as well. And then keep checking. How's the back feel?
It's good. That's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. How's that going?
So this treatment you would be treating, what symptom would you be treating it for?
Okay. So you have a handout that's the fomentation. Your fomentation handout. So I would use this if you're suffering from some type of pain there. It's good for sicknesses that you may have, like just general not feeling good, colds, flus. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be in the other one that they passed out last. Maybe this is what I have. Okay. So a lot of these will tell you which treatments to use these for. So like I said, I use this. I did this for my mom, again, when she was suffering with her colitis. We did the treatment for her on that. I do this treatment on Damon's back when he throws his back out and his back is really hurting him. Nothing really pulls him out of that until I do the fomentation. The fomentation works quicker and better than the pain pills. The pain pills, if you take the pain pills, you can't function anyway, because they just make you all, whatever. So this brings him almost instant relief when I do the fomentations on him. He's like so amazed. He's like, wow, I can move. And so they're good for that. I also started this treatment on my friend basically because she was suffering with systemic lupus, and she was practically bedridden. And so I started using this treatment on her. We started doing this. And that's one of them that I did use the hot water. So you can have a bucket here with the hot water at 104 at 105 degrees. And so at the same time when you're doing that, you're going to be checking this water to see if it's still hot. Do I need to pour some more water in there? And that treatment is going to take about 20 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on how long you leave the heat. So you can leave the heat anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, take it off, and then do the cold. And again, we always end on the cold. So let's say this was the third one, and we're going to take it off. We're going to do the cold. We're going to dry off. And then as soon as we do that, we're going to cover back up. And now she's just going to rest for at least 20 minutes. If she could take an hour nap, that would be perfect. So you always rest after hydrotherapy because it's going to be help what you've just gotten the blood to do, the circulation, the push and the pull. You've increased the white blood cells to fight infection or different things like that. The longer you rest, that is still fighting and still doing the process of the healing. So you always rest after hydrotherapy. So this is the fomentation process that I use the most for pain. Yes. This is very hard to do on yourself. You actually need help when you do this. But if you are, let's say, you're treating a leg injury or a knee injury, you could probably do it yourself if you have everything set up around you that you need to do. And like for my mom, I wasn't there. She had no one to help her. And so that's why for the contrast for her, I told her to do it that way. So put the cold in one area where she was having the pain and the inflammation, and put the hot in the other. So it pulls the blood from the center to the extremities. And that is the reason it also helps with headaches. So with headaches, when you're doing the 20 minutes in the hot foot bath, you have the cold here and on the neck. And so it's restricting those blood vessels where you have a lot of that concentrated blood right there that's not moving because it's hurting. Yes. That was the last thing we're going to be talking about. Yes. So she's asking about a contrast shower, which is what I was going to end on. But so for the fomentation, you can't do this and your back unless you have some help. But you can do it in a concentrated area, or you can choose the hot foot bath. There are so many great things when you read that handout for the hot foot bath that it brings instant relief to, just simply because of the circulation. So bringing the circulation and making it move is going to be bringing relief. So you can get up whenever you're ready. She's ready to sleep now.
That's awesome.
How do you feel?
Great. I think there's a lot of benefits to this. Just laying here at that heat in my back, and I'm going to buy these.
Yes.
I think we could take care of a lot of.
Yes. Okay, so you're welcome. So the last thing that I was going to talk about for hydrotherapy, which I'm only touching on the many uses of hydrotherapy and how you can use it, but is the contrast shower. So this is a treatment that you can do on yourself. Anytime you start to feel you're around someone that's sick, you have a cold, even for things like COVID and different things like that, the contrast shower is going to prevent it. If you haven't caught it yet, it's going to help to prevent it because it's increasing your white blood cells, all the soldiers in your body that's fighting inflammation and infection and all of those things. Or if you already have it, it's going to help it speed up and give relief a lot quicker. So contrast shower is something you can do by yourself. You should do by yourself. I'm Let me add that. I was thinking, But yes, and also the contrast bath and if you have a hot tub, you can do a contrast bath. All you have to do is get you a big container, a plastic container from Home Depot or Tractor Supply, or what have you. You can set you up some ice water there, because all you have to do is add ice to that. And because if you're doing back and forth from the hot tub to the cold tub, you want the hot to be in your own bathtub, because you can keep adding hot water from the faucet and keeping that hot. But the shower is really good, and we use this, and Dr. Nedley had a lifestyle program for people that suffer from depression and anxiety. And that was one of the main treatments that they used twice a day, was the contrast bath or shower, if they couldn't do the bath. But let's say you have the back pain and you can't do the fomentation on yourself. You can do that contrast in a shower. But what I have to tell you about a contrast shower, a lot of people like to work up to it. That's not the contrast. You can't do that unless you're trying to get your body that you just really can't do that, working up a tolerance for it. But what really helps you is the quick change. There's a word in there that they keep using, and that's what that means. It just means the quick contrast. So you want it to be as hot as your body can take it without burning yourself. Take the shower for a good 5 minutes till you're really good and hot, because you're going to welcome the cold, because now you want the cold because you're so hot. Turn to cold, and you want to do it immediately. You want a quick contrast. Now, believe me, you can take it. It's going to be shocking, but you want that shock. Your body needs that shock. So you're cold for 30 seconds to 1 minute. Then you switch it right back to the hot. And while you're doing it, you could just be concentrating on a particular area, or you could be doing the whole body by turning, which is preventing a cold or helping a cold run its course quicker and getting well quicker. You're going to do the whole body, not the head. You want to do it from the neck down. And you can do your face, especially the cold water, but not the top of the head. So from here down, and you're turning, and then you want it to cold, and make sure you turn again for that one, and back and forth, anywhere from 3 rounds to up to however many rounds you want to do. But you need to do at least 3 rounds, and you're going to feel so much better after this. Same thing, end on cold, dry off with friction, a good nice terry cloth towel, not those really soft towels that don't absorb nothing. You want a towel that you're going to feel. So you dry off really good with the friction. You can also be doing the friction during the hot, because you're going to be releasing a lot of toxins out of your body. And so while you're in the hot water, you got a good terry cloth washcloth, you can be doing this in your body. Also, you can use in between Epsom salt, that's scrubbing, or a good body scrub. So you're feeling that friction like that. You're ending on the cold, you're drying off really well, you're going to wrap yourself up really nicely, and you're going to go lay down, and you're going to take a rest for at least 20 minutes. 45 minutes is better, but at least 20 minutes. You don't want to run around after hydrotherapy. You want it to be able to do its job. So I'm going to go ahead and end on that, and we're going to get Darlene. She's going to talk about hydrotherapy and treatments for children. Yes. Cold mitten friction. Good question. Aaron, how is this? Like this? Okay, like this. Wait. Oh, can y'all ladies bring the table back? I forgot. She wants to use the table to lay him on for demonstration. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me? All right, cool. First, I'll real quick piggyback what she was saying. So yes, if you're single, it's very hard to do these to yourself. But they sell, and you can get these on Amazon. Battle Creek sells it, but it's called a thermophore. I used to be able to find them in drugstores as well. This is a smaller one, and then I have a larger one I'll show you as well. But it works. It's a good second place to doing the hydrotherapy. And how I've really used the hydrotherapy in my life, both when I was young. So I used to get bronchitis, and then I got pneumonia once when I was 14. And after my mom found out about the fomentations, I never got it again, ever. I've always done the treatments. So this one, it's like I said, this is a smaller one. This is a wool sleeve. So it's a heating pad that goes in a wool sleeve. And the idea is you put it on the part that you need, and mostly I've used the application with the chest. So if you have any kind of chest problems, like you feel a cold coming on, it settles in your chest. Of course, the smaller one won't work very well on the chest. You could use this on other body parts. But so this is a quick release. So you have to hold it down, but you put it on, you heat it up as much as you can stand it. And then eventually you'll have to let go because it gets too hot. And then as soon as you can stand it again, you put it back. So 20 minutes twice a day. The bigger one, of course, is better for the chest area. And I think I'm getting tangled. Hold on. And honestly, this might be the extra large. I have a large at home. So if anyone's thinking this is too large, you can order just a large. They have small, medium, and large, and extra large. So you just put it across your chest, heat it up, and like I said, you just go 20 minutes. You can even do it longer. So I've had a chest thing ever since COVID came around. When I get one, it tends to not clear up as well. So I've done it 3 times a day before. I've done it longer than 20 minutes as well. So it won't hurt if you do it longer. And then Mary was talking about the wool that you can order. I just got this off Amazon. I haven't cut it down yet, but you order a big one, you can cut it down. So like if you're doing, she brought up the wet sheet. We've used T-shirts when we were growing up and when my kids were little. Just wet the T-shirt, put it on, cold of course, pull the sleeves up, and then you have this cut down. Well, first you put the plastic, so the saran wrap, and then you wrap it with the wool, and then put, like a big shirt. I put my dad's shirt on or something after, and you sleep like that. And it does the same thing Mary explained. It heats up, and it works wonders. And that can be done, like I said, to the little ones. Of course, you can do it to yourself as well. All right, come on. So a couple things that you can do. We're going to put, Josiah, will you come lay down, please? Yeah. Mom will help. So I'll start with the hot half bath Mary mentioned. So you can do that with even an infant. So when you're doing it with an infant, and we're going to take your shoes off, you're going to use, an infant bath or something small, a tub. But you're going to use, you're going to have use less extreme, so less hot, of course, less cold when you're dealing with such a little one. But 3 minutes on an infant, up to 3 years of age, and then you add a minute for every age they are. But the hot half bath works very, very well if they have a fever. And then, of course, you end in cold with that. And then what I'm going to do to Josiah right now is going to be fomentations. We're going to pretend we're doing it, though. We're not actually going to demonstrate it. So with a little one, and you can do this, with the baby as well. You want to use like a baby washcloth because it's not going to hold as much heat. And again, it won't be as extreme. So the point is you want them to get red. They need to be pink. But you don't want to burn them, of course. So you want to be very careful. And you also are not going to boil it. You're just going to use out of the tap. So you're going to do as hot as they can take it. And you can tell by the wrist. And once you start doing it, you'll get a feel for it. At first, it might be a little intimidating, but just know if you're getting that pink color, you're doing what you're supposed to. And with the little one, I've always done the 3 minutes and then 30 seconds of cold. And again, you just use the cold out of the tap when they're really little. Josiah's age and even Noah, you can fill up. So this, you fill up with ice water. So we'll put the hot. And then I usually just run the faucet and have a second one in there, even a third, so I can just swap them out. Because again, they're going to start cooling down, and you want to keep it hot. And they might giggle or laugh. And of course, when you do cold, they're going to complain. But that's okay, right? Yep. And just, well, we'll just leave it on. But thank you. So then we're going to put it in the ice water, and then we're going to, same thing Mary said, you're going to create friction. And yeah, they might even giggle a little with the cold, but usually they complain a little. And then I've always done it 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes, and an end in cold, 30 seconds. And then the same thing that Mary said, you want to always put the socks on the feet and put them in warm clothes. And, usually before bed. And then, of course, when they're sick, if you did it in the morning, so twice a day is fine, then you just go put them to lay down and rest. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mother. You want to make sure their arms are in there so they're not getting chilled. Right? And then with Josiah, we have to remind him to keep his arms in there. Right? So we're going to do the cold again for 30 seconds. Actually, when they're able to start counting, they can count it for you. Yeah. So we're going to pretend we did all of it. And Josiah, can you still sit there on the table, though? Don't jump down. I'm going to show you the last one that we use that works really well. Socks. So this is great. This is probably, I've used this more than anything else. You wet socks. So wet them in cold. And again, it can just be in the cold water coming out of the faucet. So we'll pretend like we already put the cold on this one. Actually, I'll just go ahead and switch it. I am. And babies, you can do this to babies. On up. No, that one can stay on, babe. So that's our cold sock we put on. And then, well, we're just going to do it for real, this part. And then you wrap, and I should have cut this bigger. So you want to cut it large enough to cover everything. You don't want to leave anything unexposed because that part will stay cold. It won't heat up. So this needs to be completely covered. Yes, you could use a bread sack as well. And then here's a wool sock. Yep. So wool socks, you just order them off Amazon for kids, and voila, that's all you have to do. And this works like a charm. Well, if they're sick, any ailment, but if they're sick, yeah. If they're sick, you just put them to bed like this, keep it on them all night, wake up in the morning, and it really works, guys. It's amazing. So my dad, when my mom learned about him, and she started doing treatments to us, he used to say, "Oh, this is torture." And then he was really sick and he had a chest problem, and she did the fomentations like Mary showed, and oh, he was a believer after that. So, and like Mary said, you always want to pray. Yep, thank you. You did a good job. Thank you, Josiah. Actually, I'm going to use you again, though.
Worked for her child with croup and healed it. Okay, so we want to take a little bit of a break. We have some couple of more demonstrations that we're going to be doing, but I want to have a drawing. We have a few things we wanted to give away, and so I'm going to pick a couple for now, and then we'll do a couple later. So Sandy Poden. Sandy, where'd Sandy go? Oh, she's sitting right there. I didn't see her. All right. We have an oil blend for you. Oh, okay. And then Mark Rhodes. Okay. So I have a lot of these, and I wanted to be able to give them out to someone. This is called Black Ice. These are actually just charcoal patches. I have a friend that makes these in California, and so they're very nice for anywhere that you have some pain and you want pain relief. I think Monty in the end is going to be talking the more uses for charcoal, but there's that. Okay, so if anyone needs to get a drink of water or go to the restroom or stand up and stretch a minute, we're going to have Tanya come up, and she's going to be our next demonstrator. I want to go ahead and answer the question. So the question was, what do we use instead of wool if we are allergic to it? There are some people that cannot use wool and they break out if they use wool. So if you can't use wool, then just use cotton, for the wrap, for the heat compress, or you can't wear the wool socks. Use some heavy cotton or some flannel or something like that that's going to hold the heat in. So we would suggest using that if you're allergic to wool. All right. So are y'all enjoying the workshop? Is it informative? You learning a lot? Good. We want to do another one of these because there's so many simple remedies that we can't do everything all at once. So we will be having another class in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and give this time to Miss Darlene.
Thank you, Mary. So I'm going to talk on charcoal next. Charcoal is actually it's as old as a folk remedy, practically as history. So it used to be used a lot, and then in the 50s when the pharmaceutical industry really took off, they stopped using it as much. Now, some of you may be aware that we have now, like the poison centers, that's their go-to. How many knew that? For poison ingestion, couple? So yeah, they use it. So it's an amazing remedy, and it's cheap. Did you have a question? Yes. He said he's heard of it being used for rattlesnake bites, and he's very, very correct. So what is charcoal, and how can it be used as a means of healing? Charcoal is the residue of partially burnt animal or vegetable matter, especially wood. When we think of charcoal, we usually think of black substance we use for fuel. There are two types of charcoal. Charcoal is made from a controlled burning of wood or bone and is then subjected to the action of oxidizing gas, such as steam or air, at elevated temperatures. This process enhances the adsorptive power of charcoal by developing an extensive internal network of fine pores in the material. This is the type of charcoal used for healing. So I don't know if you noticed I said adsorptive instead of absorption or absorptive. So the difference is adsorptive, particles attached to; absorptive, it takes it inside. In charcoal, it has all the foreign particles attached to it. So something that's just cool facts I found very, very cool. Because charcoal can pack molecules of ammonia gas into its crevices, it can attract and hold 80 quarts of ammonia gas per quart of pulverized charcoal. And of course, that process is called absorption, which we just mentioned. Couple other very cool facts. P.F. Torrey in 1831 made a demonstration of the effectiveness of charcoal before the French Academy of Medicine. He survived after swallowing 15 grams of strychnine, 10 times the lethal dose, and an equal amount of charcoal, about 3 tablespoons. So every private home should actually have charcoal as a remedy and an antidote for poison. So you can buy charcoal in the powdered form. This is activated charcoal. So activated charcoal, you're aware? Yeah. Activated charcoal, it has about twice the power of regular charcoal. Also, it comes in tablets. And then also veggie caps you can get as well. So just a couple applications. Of course, poison is a cleaning agent for infections and various metabolic disturbances. Orally administered charcoal is effective in preventing many intestinal infections. All studies show that charcoal is harmless when ingested, when inhaled, and when applied to the skin. Charcoal is without rival as an agent for cleaning and assisting in the healing of the body. The grains of charcoal, they have many crevices and corners, which we discussed, and it will absorb any foreign material that's in your body. So a couple contraindications are you want to make sure you don't take charcoal with medication because it will absorb it. You don't want to also take it when you've just eaten. So if you need to take it internally, then you're going to want to do it between your meals so that it doesn't, there's not that contraindication with your food. It can actually interfere with the effectiveness. Yes. Yes. All of it? I'm sorry. Okay. So you don't want to take charcoal. Okay, so say I have an upset stomach. I'm not going to take it when I've just eaten. I'm going to wait to a couple hours after. So like mid-meals, you would take it because it can interfere with the effectiveness of the charcoal. Also, you don't want to put charcoal on an open wound because there can be a tattooing effect. So you always want to do a poultice, which I'll go over with you and show you. Some applications that my mother used, cellulitis, countless times with, so she did home remedy classes as well with people. She was a nurse and she did a lot of cooking classes. She came in contact with a lot of people. So cellulitis many times, it was red, fever, edema, and pain, and it takes care of it. It pulls and adsorbs all that toxin out. Infected wounds. So my youngest brother had a blood infection, and the red streak was actually going up his leg, and she took him to the doctor, and then she told the physician she was going to treat with charcoal. He was amazed when Danny went then, and I don't remember now how many days later he had to go back and be checked, but the red streak was going down. So there, my folks had a health food store in Slidell. There was someone who came in. She had a parotid infection in her parietal gland. She was going to have surgery. She already had it scheduled. It was quite large. When I have the time, I'm going to look for the pictures because I believe I have them, and you can visibly see that it's large on her neck. And then my mom took pictures over the days as it decreased, but her doctor amazed because she never had to have surgery. It took care of it. So my aunt, she had a salivary gland inflammation and stones. It took care of that. So she did tell a pediatrician about charcoal. He started using it on his patients for blood poisoning, pain, inability to walk, sebaceous cyst, diarrhea and vomiting. I don't think I mentioned that, but it's very effective for diarrhea. So if you just start with something, you want to take it and it'll take care of it. So if you're traveling, my mom never traveled without her charcoal. So you eat something that upsets you, just take some gel caps. TMJ, it works really well for TMJ. And then also any kind of tooth pain, or if you have an abscess in your tooth, you'll want to suck on the tablets. Just stick it in your cheek. You can go to bed like that. It works wonders. Brown recluse spider bite. So in Ohio, we had a friend in church. She got bit by one. She didn't realize what had happened till it got pretty bad. She went to the doctor and they told her, she was already into natural things, but anyway, my mom told her how to do the poultice, and she did it and took care of it. Again, her doctor was amazed. Brown recluse is pretty bad. It can be used for sore throats, any kind of arthritis and inflammation, injury, bruise, pain. Hepatitis has been used for that in the mission field. Yes. So what's this stand for? That's what it is. So it's in the jaw. Yeah, it's when people will have pain in their jaw and it's inflamed. Tanya can probably speak to more of the medical side of TMJ than I can. But yeah, my mom would have that from time to time. Not a lot, but she would use a poultice and it would pull it out. Like the gentleman said, it's been used in the mission field as well for snake bites. mouth sores, just all kinds of applications for it. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate for you. I do have some handouts as well. I'm going to demonstrate a poultice. First, I want to mention I did buy some books. Anybody who's interested, just at cost, I got them. They came quickly. So Wednesday I ordered them. But this is a great book. And then there's another one. This is my mom's copy if you want to look through these first. But this one's 17 and this one is 7. So charcoal needs something to bind to, so you're going to make a paste with it. You can use different things, but flaxseed is one. You can also use oatmeal if you need to use oatmeal. So I'm going to put a cup of water. First, I better heat this up. Actually, first I'm going to blend this. What is it? Rice husk? Okay. Where do you buy that at? Okay, rice husk. I didn't know that. Thank you. I guess it needs to be plugged in. That would be helpful. Here. I have this. So here, let's blend that first, and then we'll heat this. This works really well, so this should heat pretty fast. Thank you. So I put a cup of water in, and I'm not going to make a, oops. I haven't used this in forever. There. Okay, thank you. I'm not making a full dose, so I'm just using a tablespoon. I did give you guys the dosage for this. Of course, you can, it's not like set in stone how you have to do it. So you're going to heat your water. And the flaxseed will allow you to thicken. It'll thicken and kind of get to a gel. And then we're going to then put the charcoal after. I have done it with the charcoal as well in here. And while that is going, I'm going to, who knew that Ellen White spoke about charcoal? Yeah, I didn't realize that. So I went through my mom's handouts. Found it. Yeah. Yeah, so I've got a couple quotes. Cool, thank you. So she speaks to it destroying inflammation and removing poison. I have not time to relate the wonderful cures wrought, not by dosing with drugs, but by the application with water. We use charcoal largely, making it into poultices. It destroys the inflammation and removes the poison. We are teaching the ignorant how to become intelligent and keep well. Letter 74, 1889. Charcoal as a poultice. One occasion, a physician came to me in great distress. He had been called to attend a young woman who was dangerously ill. She had contracted fever while on the campground and was taken to our school building near Melbourne, Australia. But she became so much worse that it was feared that she could not live. The physician came to me and said, "Sister White, have you any light for me in this case? If relief cannot be given to our sister, she can live but a few hours." I replied, "Send to the blacksmith shop and get some pulverized charcoal. Make a poultice of it and lay it over her stomach and sides." The doctor hastened away to follow out my instructions. Soon he returned, saying relief came in less than half an hour after the application of the poultices. She is now having the first natural sleep she has had for days. And I'll leave this up here if anybody wants to look through it. So one of the handouts I have says you don't have to actually heat it. You can let it sit in the water, and it will thicken the flaxseed in the water. Do you want to come up and get the mic? You sure? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Make a poultice. Make a poultice of equal parts charcoal and rice hulls, and you can actually prepare it a long time ahead of time and keep it in the freezer, and just cut off a 1-inch square and put it on where a bee sting is, and in 5 minutes it quits hurting.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, I've had 20 bee stings.
So, darling, you're making a poultice, right? A charcoal
I'm making a
poultice.
poultice, but I should have done the whole recipe for the flaxseed, I do believe, because it's not thickening. So I'm going to add a little bit more. So Mary, do you have any experiences? Do you want to share? Or anyone else have any charcoal experience they want to share while I do this? Oh.
Mark has one.
Years ago, when I was working with Pathfinders on a camp out somewhere, I think maybe it was a Whitney, before Lake Whitney Ranch, we had something to eat that night, and I got real sick. And it was like the first night, and I couldn't do nothing. I had to go lay down in the tent, and I thought I was going to die. I was so sick, you know. It was just stomach pain and nausea and everything. So I had some charcoal pills that I took with me, and I took like 4 of them. You know, and I just went to bed on it, and then I woke up in the morning and I was fine. But, you know, it took all night. It was kind of severe, but it worked.
Yeah. Is there anybody who doesn't have your stomach here? Did you come with your stomach? Yeah, I did too. Stomach is the mother of all diseases. And for you to be a little bit safe, as I have been doing it, is maybe 2 to 3 days in a week when you are not going to work. You take a glass of water, a teaspoon of charcoal, and a heaped teaspoon of sodium bicarbonate. You stir, you swallow the whole glass, but don't swallow the residue. Within an hour or 2, you'll feel the stomach say, "Coo," saying, "I want to go to the room." And when you go there, you can't believe all in your stomach. And that's why stomach is the mother of all ailments. I do it every 3 days in a week, and I feel I'm good. And that's why I say, every part of my body feels better. Every part of my body feels good. Thank you, God. I feel so good. Every part of my body feels good.
I apologize, I've never demonstrated before. So I use too much water. At home, I don't measure. I just, put it in. And usually I use oatmeal. And just, so, again, I apologize. But we'll get there. Oh, I just put in here. So we're going to add the charcoal now. Now charcoal is messy. Don't sneeze. Good advice. It's worth the mess though. Hey Josiah, do you want to come back up? Oh yeah, and I made a mess. At home, I don't make this mess, believe it or not. I do it all in the pan, though. I'm making a paste. You want to come over here? And we're going to put the poultice on your arm.
Now, what kind of cloth or what are you going to use to put the poultice in?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What are you going to use? Paper towel?
I'm going to use paper towel. That's what we've always used in my family. But you can use different things. Now, one thing you want to make sure, okay, so you want to make sure that the part that you have to the skin is just one layer. You can also use this in a bandage. I mean, if you had, depending on your application. Of course, if you have a large area you need to cover, you're going to maybe get bandages at the store. I've heard people say they use gauze before. Okay. Can you put your arm up here, Josiah? Or come along over here so everyone can see? Here, come here for me. Yeah. So turn around for me. So Josiah, if you had a bee sting or something like that, an infection, we would put this on your arm. And then we're going to wrap it with saran wrap. Saran wrap will hold it in place. Yeah, if you had a bee sting or a bite or an infection.
And you always want the plastic bigger than the poultice.
Yep.
Get this off.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt.
No, it.
It was your dad.
I'm
It was.
going to take it off in just a minute. It's just warm, sweetie. Right? You feel the warm? And then you can use an ace bandage. You can use other.
Use this.
Okay, thank you. Yep, and then you just want to hold it in place.
And not too tight where it's restricting the blood flow, but just tight enough that it doesn't fall off the arm or wherever you're putting it.
Yep.
You know?
So I believe the handout says 6 to 8 hours. Usually I put things on while I'm sleeping. So, you know, overnight's fine. There's not like you have to leave it on this amount of time. And then if you've got something chronic or something serious like a brown recluse, you'd have to look up how much time off in that case, but you want to pretty much be redoing it.
He wants a bandage.
Okay, I'll give you one. Also, you know, the charcoal is going to absorb or adsorb, so you want to go ahead and swap it out, your bandages, if it's something chronic. And we do have some handouts. I think Kaylin helped me with that. So, does anyone have any questions? Yes.
So you mentioned if you have a toothache.
Yes.
You mentioned if you have a toothache, you can take a charcoal tab and just put it in there.
Yep.
Okay, my question is, doesn't charcoal stain though?
It won't permanently stain in your mouth. You just,
Okay.
in the morning, you'll wake up. It's okay. So like when you're making the poultice, you can tattoo if you have it in an open wound. But as far as like if you get it on your hands or whatever, it's going to wash off. In the morning, you rinse your mouth, you brush your teeth, it's gone. It doesn't stay. So you don't have to worry about that. And some people do actually brush their teeth with charcoal. There's charcoal toothpaste out there. Yeah. Any more questions?
It whitens your teeth.
You have a question? Go over there and sit down, and Mary will call on you.
Can you mix like baking soda and charcoal for toothpaste? Would that be advisable?
I've never heard of mixing it with baking soda. So in this case, it's a tablet. I don't know if you saw here. And then you just stick it in your mouth. And your mouth will hold it in place while you sleep. Yeah.
Oh, but he's talking about a toothpaste. They actually
Oh, a toothpaste.
sell toothpaste with
Yeah.
charcoal in it, charcoal
I
toothpaste.
gotcha.
Yep, they have it.
Any more questions? How? I've never done that.
I can answer.
I think you would want to use the toothpaste in that case. Yeah.
In response to Mark's question about the baking soda, what you can do is you can take the charcoal powder, you can take the baking soda. The only thing with using the baking soda is it can be very abrasive. So then you wouldn't want to use it every day. If it's got baking soda in it, you might want to use it once a week. However, if it's just charcoal powder, you're going to mix it with coconut oil. And you would brush your teeth with that. And like they said earlier, it has a whitening effect. And when you hold it in your mouth, you could even do some oil pulling with it, which I can talk about the oil pulling later, but you would mix that charcoal with coconut oil. It's still going to be messy, so what I do is you take a jar, brush, like you would.
So the reason it's messy is it's a very, very fine powder, and any air, wind that comes through or just dropping it in there, it just makes like a cloud. So it's very messy in that respect because it's a very, very fine powder. Okay, are you going to do another poultice or you're done? Okay, she's done. Now, welcome Tanya. If anyone needs to take another restroom break or a water break or anything like that while Tanya's getting ready.
Did you press that? Okay, it's on now. You can hear me? Okay, I can't hear me.
One of the things that I didn't tell you when we were talking about using them for pain or a sleep sedative or something like that, another way you can use the fomentation pad is before massage. So you can put the heat compress of the fomentation pad on the back muscles. I had that done to me when I was having some severe back pain when I was in California, and the students there that were trying to earn their massage certificate, they had to have so many massages, and so what they did for me is I sat in the massage chair, and they used the hot fomentation on my back first, and they placed it on my back for a good 10-15 minutes. And just kind of applying pressure back and forth with that. And then when they removed that, they did a light massage after that. And man, did that feel great. Back pain was completely gone. It felt wonderful. So you can use that too to get the muscles, ready with the heat. It relaxes them. And then you can give the massage after that. All right. These are some of the home remedies that we've been using a lot of lately at home for different things. I'm always calling Tanya. What else can I add? What can I do for this? The pastor won't take that. What else can I give him?
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming so that we could share with you. Is it on? You can hear it. So that we could share with you some really, really common natural remedies that you have in your home. That is my passion, using what you have in your home that's inexpensive and that has multiple uses. So you'll see that a lot of the things that we use, you will use it for across the board for many things. And the beauty of these God's remedies is that they don't carry the same sort of side effects that a lot of Western medication has. There's a place and a time for everything, right? So this evening, a lot of these remedies, I would imagine that most of you know about already, especially since Barbara and Neil went viral. A lot of people have been exposed, and a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon and started making videos and reels. I wish I had done it, because I started learning a lot of these remedies from Barbara and Neil when I was pregnant. So that's, 9-10 years ago. And it's just a wealth of knowledge, and I've been able to help a lot of people with this, and I get excited about sharing these things. So all of this can be used on children and adults, and then we can talk as we go along about how we might change it somewhat for a child to an adult. So the first thing, so let me just preface this. There's some things that I'm not talking about because if Monty arrives, he's going to cover them. Had ingested some kind of poison, any kind of toxicology. The first route was charcoal. And a lot of people think that your first route was pumping the stomach. We didn't do that. We gave them charcoal, and they would be sitting there with charcoal all over their face. And I can attest that it does work. And also, when Mary was doing the hot and cold treatment, the hot treatment for the headaches, I can attest that works. I have treated myself with that. I had a headache that wouldn't go away for 5 days. I tried everything, nothing worked. I put hot water in the bath, I stuck my feet in the bath, I put an ice pack on me, and I covered myself in a blanket, and within 15 minutes that headache was gone, because it's drawing all the blood away from the head and into the feet. So praise God for his remedies. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the humble onion. Everyone has onions in their home. We love to cook with onions. And also, we're just going to try the best that we can with what we have within our homes. So if you have a baby or a child, or if you are someone that is prone to earaches, the onion is amazing and can work within 10 minutes. What you do, we've done something, we've kind of prepped it already. You get an onion, you cut the ends, just the little ends off to take the skin off. And then you cut your onion in half. Now, ideally, you want to wrap the onion in foil and do it in the oven or the air fryer. If you have an air fryer, it's even quicker. I now use the air fryer. And you're going to wrap it in the foil, and you're going to put it in there. I would put it in at 400, and you're not going to cook it. You're just going to warm it so that it's warmed all the way through. So you'll begin to see that when you open it, it will be a little soft. And the reason I say do it in your foil is because what's going to happen is the onion is going to start releasing its juice. And that stuff is amazing. Once it's cool enough, you can take that onion juice and you can put it into the ear. And then what you will do is you'll take your onion, and this is why you don't want it to be hot, that you can't touch it. Because if you're using this on a child, and this can be used on a child who, even on a baby that's teething, because a lot of the time, doctors will tell you that the baby has an ear infection when they don't. They're just teething, and the eustachian tubes are all swollen. And it looks like they have an ear infection, but actually they're teething a lot of the time. So the reason you've cut it in half, actually, Donna, can you take this and let them just feel this? Now this we did in the microwave. Not ideal because the microwave kind of zaps it of all its nutrients. but just for you to get an idea of what it feels like. So you see how it's soft and there's a flat side. So this can be used on an infant, and it can be used on a child, and it can be used on an adult. And we have experience of this working really fast, within 10 minutes. You take that flat part and you hold, really what you want to do is you want to lay down, especially for a child, so you might want to hold them. And you're going to take that flat part and you're going to hold it onto the ear. The heat that comes off of it when it's fresh is actually very soothing. And if you, like I said, if you have some of that onion juice, you want to just drop some into the ear. And then you're going to hold that onion there for as long as possible. Ideally, you want to hold it there for 10 to 15 minutes. And that you will see, if they're having pain on both sides, then you'll swap it off there. And you'll notice that within about 10 to 15 minutes, that pain is gone. But it is important, like I said, don't cook the onion. You don't want to cook it. You just want to soften it. And you'll see there. Normally when it comes out, it's a lot warmer. So you do have to wait for that to cool down a little bit before you put it on there, because you don't want to burn the ear or burn, especially when you put the onion juice in, you have to let that cool down because you do not want to burn the inside of the ear either. But what it does is the onion is amazing. The onion is a drawer. So it's going to draw inflammation out. So all of that pressure that's up in the ear begins to subside. And so for a baby especially that's teething, it's reducing all that inflammation, and now they feel happy. So that's a really, really simple one. Then go ahead. So everyone's air fryer is a little different. So just gauge it. Start with like 3 minutes. Start 3 to 5 minutes, just check it. And if your air fryer is very powerful, then just do it less. You're just going to play around with it until you get that warm, soft feeling and gather that juice. Yes? For vertigo, it could. I've never used it for vertigo. What I have used for vertigo is a certain blend of essential oils. Miss Tess can attest to that. But I'm not going to talk about oils today because I am going to be doing a class on oils, and you're going to learn about that. But you could try, and if you try, let me know, because I would like to know. Then another one with the onion that we have done in my house many, many times, and which I think most of you probably know, is onion on the feet. And the reason we do onion on the feet, anytime you have like a chest infection, a cough, this works wonders. I am convinced that my son, when he was an infant, had bronchiolitis. And my motto in my family is, I'm going to do everything I can at home first, and then I'm going to go. I'll go seek out help if I need to, if I can't handle this. But what we did was we diced up some onion, just like that. And you're going to cut 2 pieces of saran wrap. And this can be done on an infant as well. The onion will not burn an infant's feet. Garlic can blister it. So I'll talk about that in a second. But onion, you just take it, you put it on the saran wrap like that. And we have also done it on like little Ziploc bags as well. And this is not just for a child. This is for adults. I use this on my husband often. And I don't really need it because my husband and my son are more prone to chest infections, not me. And so you have it like this, you see? There's just some onion on the saran wrap. You place the foot on that, so you can put it on the ground. Get them to put their foot on. You want to try?
Yeah, let me
Come
put
sit
my
over
foot in.
here. Yeah. Donna's going to sacrifice her feet for us because it stinks. And you're going to know that it's gone into the bloodstream really quick because very soon you're going to smell it on their breath. Okay. So you see how she has put her foot on there. Then you wrap it with the saran wrap, or you can close it with a Ziploc bag. Now, you should make it bigger. I didn't make it bigger. And then you take a sock. and you pull the sock over that, and that will hold it in place for the night and even for the day. And if you have a child, or if it's you, just wear it if you're at home, and it's okay because it's going to scrunch. And the more it you juice it up, you're going to absorb that. Yes. Yes, I just said that. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Donna. Sorry. And what you will notice in the morning is that onion will have dried out. All the juice would have been gone and you've absorbed it. And I can tell you this, when my child is coughing, or my husband, but especially my child, when he's coughing and he can't get to sleep at night, when I put this on his feet, within minutes, like very quick minutes, the coughing stops. And then he's settled and he sleeps for the night. And I do it on my husband as well. Yes, Bill. Okay, so she's asking if that onion needs to be cooked. No, this is raw onion. Yes, so it's the warmed onion for the ear, and it's raw onion for the feet. And it works very, very well. It helps with the chest because, again, it's a puller, so it's going to pull out that inflammation. And because you want to put it on your feet because your feet are the most porous part of your body. So whatever you stand on is what you're going to be absorbing. So the reason you want to put that there is because then you're going to absorb all of that goodness inside of that onion, and it's going to go around your bloodstream and it's going to start reducing the inflammation. Isn't God amazing? Yes. So the question is, can we slice the onion or can it be diced up? You can slice it. Whatever's easier. The reason I dice it is because in my mind, that's first the instruction I was given. And in my mind, I can get more because it's going to release more juice. And I think that they're going to absorb more. Yeah. Okay, he slices. There we go. Okay, so Darlene also did remind me earlier that going back to the earache, you can use olive oil. I think most of us have used that in the past. For me, the way I've used the olive oil is to put some drops into the ear, and that softens the wax and it is soothing, but I've not needed to use that. The onion has been my go-to, and it always works. Okay, so then garlic. So remember we said that, before that, if your baby or your child or you are just feeling under the weather, it doesn't have to be a respiratory condition, it doesn't have to be a cough or anything like that. You can just put the onion on your feet too. Again, because it's reducing inflammation and drawing it out. So it does help. Especially if you don't have garlic at home, you've been cooking too much lovely pasta and your garlic is finished, but you do have some onions. Just use what you have. You do the best with what you have. So the difference with garlic is that if you're going to use garlic on feet, especially on an infant or a child, it's very strong, and so it can blister the skin. So what you would do is you would either take a piece of cotton cloth, and if you don't have that, you can use kitchen towel, and you would just fold it in half. So you would put one half. You would have one half of the kitchen towel. You would crush your garlic, or you can slice it. And this is really important because garlic contains an enzyme called allicin. And allicin is where the really good stuff is. And so when you crush it or you slice it and you let it sit for a while, it releases the allicin. So then you put that on your kitchen roll, you close it, you put it on the bottom of the foot, and again, you just wrap in cling film and put a sock on. We're putting the socks on there so that they don't fall off, because sometimes children, especially ones that are a little bit more strong-willed, might fight you and say, I don't want to do that, it doesn't feel nice. But if you want to get better, you've got to do it. That's basically what it is. And then, so we know that garlic is really strong and potent. It's antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. It's just one of our strongest things. And my rule of thumb is that if someone in our house gets unwell, you need to give at least 3 cloves of garlic. The beauty with garlic is that it's going to help your body to do what it needs to do. So some of you heard Pastor mentioning that I had told him about taking garlic. And I had told him, you need to take those 3 cloves because it can, not always, but it can induce a fever in you. And you want that fever. The fever is not your enemy. The fever is actually your friend, because what's happening is it's causing you to get a lot of white blood cells to the area that you want. So we actually crushed these bits of garlic. Not crushed it, we just like to open it. And I don't know if you can smell it. It's super strong over here. So that allicin has been released. Now there's something that you can do at home, and we're going to make this for you now, and you can take this home. But at home, you're going to do this with this. You get a few bulbs of garlic, and you're going to get raw honey, and you're going to get a mason jar. And you're going to put as much garlic into that mason jar as you can, and you're going to fill it with your raw honey, and you're going to close the lid, put it in a dark, cool place, and let it sit until you get sick one day. And when you don't feel well, you're going to go and you're going to eat a clove of that garlic with that honey, and it's going to really, really help with your immunity. It's going to help your body to boost what it needs to do. And it's not going to taste as bad as when you just take raw garlic. So just as an example, we've got 1 clove here, and you just pour your honey like this. And so we'll do that, and everyone can we'll give you one of those to take home. I think we have enough, right? Hopefully. Yeah. Very, very simple. There's so many different remedies for garlic. The recipe that I gave Pastor the other day, it had garlic in it. But I don't want to touch on that because Monty's meant to be doing cold and flu, so I want to give him his space to do that. Then we're going to go on to one of my favorites, forever. Basically, the honey is a preserver, and honey doesn't go bad. It might crystallize, that's fine. You can just warm it. You never want to you never want to put honey in like boiling water, because you'll kill the properties in it that are medicinal. And then, yes. You smell it? Yes, it does. It is strong smelling. Parsley and yes, it's very strong, yes. That's also one of the reasons why we put the garlic on a child or infant's feet, because they cannot ingest it. Most adults can't even do it orally. So if you're really struggling and you haven't made this, but you do have garlic at home, then what you can do is you can crush your garlic, you can put it with some raw honey and even a little bit of lemon juice, especially if you have a sore throat. That will coat your throat. But that at least, those 3 cloves of garlic 2 to 3 times a day, you're going to kick that thing right where it needs to be kicked. Okay, so we're going to look at the potato, our humble potato. Potatoes are packed with vitamin C, and they have so many amazing uses. We use the potato a lot in our home. So one of the coolest things I think about potatoes are that they are really good on soft tissue injuries. So if you have back pain, maybe you sprained an ankle, any kind of soft tissue injury, you're just going to take your potato, and I already put 1 piece. I already did 1 piece. I like it when it has the skin. Now, you don't have to peel it. The reason I peel it is because it's easier then to bend. You can see it bends really easy. But you can slice it if that's all you have. And what you would do is you're just going to slice like this. Don't mind my messing. And I've treated someone with a painful back with this before. They were skeptical, and then they came back to me the next week and they said, "That works." I said, "Yeah." And like we all said, pray before you do any remedy. So you can see, the further you get into the potato, the thicker it gets. So say, for instance, you got a shoulder injury, or maybe you have an injury on your forearm. So I massage people a lot, and I was starting to get some pain here. And so all I did was I took potato. It's very cooling as well. It feels good. And you put it on like this. Now, because it doesn't have the skin on it, it's more prone to drying out. So then you take saran wrap and you wrap it around, like we've seen here. I won't do it because we've all been doing it. Bigger than the poultice area. You can put a cloth on there and then put the saran wrap. That's fine. And then you wrap it. And you can then always put a bandage on it as well if you have to go out and you don't want everyone to see that you're walking around with potato on you. And that draws out the inflammation, and it's very soothing to that area that you've injured. It works pretty well. I was doing it each day. It only took me a couple days, and I started to feel like it was much better. And so what I was doing, I left it on for the day, or I was watching for it to dry out. And what I noticed, this is the interesting part, it was turning black. It was drawing out whatever was there. Isn't that cool? I love it. Yes. And then another remedy with this potato is, say, and maybe you've heard Barbara and Neil talk about this. If you stand on a rusty nail and you get rust, say you stood on it on your foot, potato, and you will put it in place, and that you will be diligent in making sure that you change it as regularly as possible. And in her experience, she found that after 3 days, the rust was drawn out. I think it'll be different for everyone, and it will probably be determined upon how deep the nail went in or whatever it is that's broken your skin. But it's very, very incredible. Then, something that a lot of children, or even adults, especially if they're in construction, that they're prone to, when they get the infection in the nail bed here, because sometimes the children are like this, and then you'll see that it gets red, and there'll be pus. Okay, so one of the things you can do, like Mary said, you'll do the hot and the cold, exactly like she said it. Then afterwards, because that will just help bring good blood to that area, then you'll take your potato and you might wrap it around that area. So anywhere that you have that kind of infection, you see pus, if you're brave enough, in my family, we would prick it and get the pus out. That's up to you if you want to do that. And then you wrap. And then you would wrap it with some saran wrap. Very, very simple with the humble potato. And potatoes are cheap. And so is garlic, and so is onion. These are things that don't need to break your bank. And you can grow them too, and that's even better. So the same way that you would wrap any poultice. Yeah, so you can either I would put some cloth, or you could just put saran wrap, and you're going to wrap it round. And then you can always put bandage. Now, if it's on your back and you're at home, that's fine, because you're going to be maybe resting and moving around at home. When you're going out to work, maybe not the most practical thing, so maybe you would wait till you get home. But again, you could do hot and cold on your back and then put potato there. And that's for soft tissue injury, though. That's for that muscle and that ache. And it's great. Do you want to hand these out? Then the potato has an amazing friend. Oh, I have to look into this more, but I did recently see about potatoes being used for dark aging spots. So I'm not going to share anything on that yet, because I need to go look into that and research that more. But I thought that was pretty cool. So watch this space. I'll come back with some information. And then ginger. Good old ginger. Ginger is so versatile. So when potato is good for soft tissue injury and soft tissue ailments, ginger is amazing for joints. And I can, again, talk about this because I've used it myself on my knee I have a torn meniscus in my knee. I've used it on there, and I have used it on my bunion. And I got upset when I used it on my bunion because I wanted it to get really hot. Because when you put ginger, so what you would do is you would take your ginger, and again, you would just peel it. Very simple. Like that. And you would put it over the area. So you would peel as much as you need to cover the area that's hurting. And then you would put it on. Now, word of caution, ginger it's really good at drawing out inflammation, but it does cause waves of heat. Especially the more inflammation that you have in that area, the hotter it's going to come. And you think at one point, that stuff is going to burn my skin. And it won't. It'll be fine. Just don't keep it there for like 3-4 days. You keep it there for the day, and you will notice it will come in waves. It will be like heat and then come away. And heat, and come away. And that was my experience on my knee. I did it at nighttime. That was a big mistake because it woke me up and kept me awake because I just kept feeling this heat. And then in the end, I had to take it off. But it did really help with the pain and the swelling that I was experiencing. The other week, I was using it on my bunion, and I've been getting a lot of pain in my big toe where the bunion is, and I wrapped it, and I got upset because I didn't get any heat. And I was like, this is not working. What is going on? I need heat. And I didn't get any heat, but my pain went away. And I really noticed it like a couple days afterwards that the pain went away, and actually the color of my toe had changed after using the ginger on my toe. Yeah.
Do not take a shower or a bath at least an hour after you have taken that off your body. Because if you think it got hot then,
Yes.
you will be in for a surprise.
Yes. Yes, this is true. And then ginger, some of the other really common uses that it has is it's really good for nausea, for stomach upset. Let's see what else. And for your gut health. And then for those that want to start their day on like a really revitalizing, warm, nourishing drink in the morning, you might want to put some ginger and some lemon in some water. And one, it suppresses your appetite. And two, it boosts and revs up your metabolism. And it has some fat burning effects as well. So it's really, really, ginger is beautiful. It has way more uses. All of these things that we're talking about have way more uses than we're even touching on. Yes, I'm coming to turmeric. Yes. Okay, and then one of the things that's really caught a lot of momentum recently, which I thank God for, because even though some of us have known about these remedies for many, many years, the fact that everybody is getting access to it and gaining knowledge is exciting. And that is our humble castor oil. So this has really gone quite viral. Which the only bad thing about that is that they put the prices up because now it's trendy. Whereas before it used to be a lot more affordable. So ideally, you want to get a castor oil that is cold pressed and that is hexane free. Some people will say it must be in glass. I beg to differ. It's just as long as it's hexane free and it's cold pressed, you're good. Now, I have used this as well. So where these were drawers, castor oil is a penetrator. So where with onion, for instance, you're going to change it regularly, or with the potato, you're going to change it regularly. The beauty of castor oil packs is that you don't have to change it immediately. I use mine for a good few sessions and then I will wash it. Castor oil is very, very, very thick, and it gets on everything, and it stains. And so you want to, use pajamas if you're going to wear it at night that you don't mind getting a mess on, and sheets. But these generally are pretty good, and I got this on Amazon. This and this together was like $9. It's really not expensive. And the back of this one, you can put heat in here, like a little heating pad or a hot flannel or something, and then that will help the castor oil to penetrate even more. So castor oil is just like amazing. Basically, you would take the castor oil. I'm not going to pour it on now because you just pour it on just a little bit, and then it will spread. And if it's not spreading quick enough because you're in a rush, you can just rub it. And then it will be on your cloth. And so this one is for like abdomen area, or even leg, or lower back, or anywhere that you can put it. And so you don't put the castor oil onto your skin, you'll put it onto the pack. And then you'll place it, like if you want to do it on your liver, maybe you've been told you've got fatty liver, or you've got high liver enzymes, or you got pain here in your liver, or your digestion is not good, or maybe you're constipated, maybe you've got gallstones and those are hurting. This is what you'll do. So you would place it over the area that you want it, and then it clips at the back, and you would sleep with it overnight. Now again, if you're at home and you have time, you don't have to be anywhere, you can also wear it overnight. The more you wear it, the better. Then you've also got one. Sorry, did you have a question? Cold pressed.
And what was the other property? Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you you want it to be hexane free.
Hexane free.
Yes.
Thank you.
And so this is a smaller one where you can put over the neck for the thyroid. Like if you've got a goiter or you've got nodules, you would wear it over here. And in Mary's pack, it even has ones that are round for over the breast. Maybe you want maybe you want to put it specifically, but the thing with these ones is you'll have to wrap yourself. Maybe you want to go over your kidneys if you've got kidney stones. I personally would use the long one because it has the straps to keep it. Because castor oil, it penetrates and it breaks everything up. So people have used it on bone spurs and it breaks up the bone spurs. The beauty of it is that it doesn't break down what needs to be there. And I think that that's so incredible. So a lot of women, when they have been diagnosed with breast cancer, they use something like this. And maybe before they're going for treatment or they're deciding to opt for a more natural route, they would put the castor oil on and they would put it over the tumor where the tumors are, and they would wear it as much as possible every day, all day. Again, the beauty of it is that because it's a penetrator, you don't need to wash that immediately. You can reuse that castor oil for a bit, and then after a few days, you might want to wash it. It's also really, like I said, it's good for breaking down the gallstones, liver stones. Also, for women that are still menstruating, or when you have menstruation pain, you wear it over this area, and it helps with the pain. If you've got fibroids or endometriosis, it will break it down. It will cause it to dissolve. And then I was going to, at the beginning of my career as a nurse, I was looking into working on what they call the mercy ships. And they go to different third world countries that cannot, it's basically like hospitals on a ship. And they do like a lot of surgeries. And one of the most common things they treat is cataracts. And this is when I first started to hear about this, that one of the ways that they treat cataracts, and from hearing it then and from hearing it since then, you take at nighttime, because you're not going to be able to see, wherever you have the cataracts, if it's one eye or both eyes, you would put a little bit in your eye. And basically what it does, just at night, it dissolves the cataracts. Some people are a little bit scared of putting it in the eye, so they rub it on the eyelids. And it penetrates, yes. There we go. See? Yeah, praise God. Yes. Yes.
Sally has to do it after worship because he can't read real well once he's done that.
Yes, everything goes blurry. So it's better to do it just before bed.
Yeah.
So see, I am talking some sense. I know that a lot of us are conditioned to think like certain ways, but God has remedies. Yes.
What is the time frame that it would break down the cataracts?
That I
Weeks,
don't know.
months?
I think that depends on how long you've had that cataract and how severe it is.
Okay,
But I don't know.
because I have started doing that, and the blurriness, I still have some, but it's not as bad as it was.
See, praise God. Just keep going.
Amen.
Keep going. It's the same thing for like when you have, if you say for instance you have a bone spur, or let's give that as an example. If you've had that for 3 years, you're going to have to do castor oil every night for at least 3 months. The thing with these remedies is it's not a quick fix. It's consistency, faith in God, and just working with your body. I mean, of course, you're going to work with all the other 8 laws of health, but these are things to complement and put your body in an environment to where it can do what it needs to do. And like I said, if you've got constipation, don't drink it. I know some people back in the day, they used to drink that. Just put it on here. It's more pleasant. You don't need to do that. And if you really struggle with constipation, come and see me. I will show you how to massage your colon for you to get things moving, and drink more water. It'll help. So anywhere for inflammation, cataracts is amazing. It's not cataracts, sorry. Wow. Castor oil is amazing. And it's really, really good for your skin as well, for anti-aging and rejuvenating the skin. Now, I say this with a word of caution because some people can put they can take like, maybe you'll take one of these kind of bottles and you would put like half castor oil, half jojoba oil, and you might put like 20 drops of frankincense in there, and that will be really good for your skin. However, some people, this is where I say, you need to see how your body responds. Some people, when they put castor oil near their eyes, they might find that their eyes get a little puffy in the morning. Not everyone, just some. Me personally, I get a little bit of puffiness, but I think that that's more telling me that there's something else going on that I need to address. Okay.
In the bottle, you said half castor oil.
Half castor oil, half jojoba, or jojoba, or
It's the J-O-J-O, but
jojoba, jojoba. There we go.
jojoba.
And then the king of all oils, frankincense. 20 drops. Frankincense is amazing for pain as well. I'll just drop that little nugget so that you'll come to my essential oils class when we talk about that later. And then that will lead me straight into cayenne pepper. This is a firm favorite in our house. So we'll stop because there is castor oil in this. You see this? This is, it's a rollable. And this is castor oil and cayenne pepper in here. Now, I could technically use this, but I'm letting this sit. I'm allowing this oil to get hot. So I've been keeping this in a dark, cool place. And you'll see there's a sediment. That's all the cayenne pepper at the bottom. Now, like I said, I could use it, but what happens is it gets grainy. So then you end up with castor oil. You end up with cayenne pepper. I've been using it on my bunion. You'll find it there, or wherever you've got pain, and then you've got this residue of cayenne pepper on you, and it's not the most attractive looking thing, and you don't want that on your clothes as well. So I'm letting it sit for another probably a week or two, and then I'm going to strain it, and it will just be the oil. And then when I use it, you can carry that in your bag. It will help with pain. The beauty of cayenne pepper is just incredible. It's really, really good for circulation. It's extremely high in vitamin C. If you notice, most of these things that God has given us are really, really high in vitamin C. So cayenne pepper helps with circulation because it's high in vitamin C, and it's a vasodilator, so it opens up your veins and it causes all your blood to rush to where it needs to rush. So that's good. So it works with circulation. So when you're rubbing that on an area of pain, think about it. What were we doing with the hydrotherapy? All we were doing was improving circulation and bringing heat and cold. The contrast is improving circulation. So then you have this in your arsenal too, because the cayenne pepper is helping with circulation and is bringing. Also, pay attention to the heat index on your cayenne pepper. This one is extremely hot. This is 120,000 SCOBY units. Huh? So this is very, very hot. So when I use this, I only need to use very little. So if I want some energy in the morning and maybe I'm feeling a little run down, I'll take, according to my tolerance, maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon. Some of us folks here like the heat. Maybe we'll take 1/2 a teaspoon. Just go according to your tolerance. You put it in water, you stir, and you drink. That will give you a boost. And especially if you exercise, you drink that before you exercise, and oh, you'll see how much more you can do. You're feeling foggy in the morning, you just kind of slump, you drink your cayenne pepper in your water, and like now, if you're feeling a little tired, you just drink some. It gives you energy because remember, it opens, it's a vasodilator, so then all the oxygen in your body is moving as well. And it speeds up your metabolism. And it's the only pepper that's not, doesn't hurt your gut. Any other pepper or heat hurts your gut. But cayenne pepper does it. It's actually very healing and medicinal. Like I said, it's high in vitamin C. And say, for instance, your circulation is not so good, or in the winter you experience really cold feet. What you would do is you would take just a little bit of cayenne pepper in a little bowl, and you would take a little bit of coconut oil, and you mix it in the bowl, and you rub that on the bottom of your feet. Or, if you make one of these, you already have something good, right? Rub it on the bottom of your feet, and it will warm your feet up so that you don't have these cold feet all the time. There was a lady who was a security guard in Germany. During the winter, she had to work outside, and what she used to do, because her feet were frozen, no matter how good her boots were, she would rub that on her feet overnight, and her feet were toasty warm all through the night. It's incredible. Cayenne, yeah. This one? It's for pain, but it can help with, it's more for pain. But because it's got cayenne and pepper in it, you want the recipe? It's just castor oil. Castor oil. Here. If someone say it with American accent. Castor oil. Yeah, there we go.
Okay. Castor oil.
There we go. And cayenne. There's cayenne pepper in there. That's why it's red. Cayenne. Give me a second, guys. But don't use it yet because it's not ready. It's setting. No, I made it. I made it.
Oh, you made it?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. Also, another thing that you can do with cayenne pepper is, remember when Mary said about doing the compress on your neck if you have a sore throat?
The heat compress.
Well, if you mix some coconut oil with your cayenne and you put it on there, and then you put it on, that too will help with the pain in your throat. It really, really helps. The only thing is, it might give you a bit of energy, because if you put that, like this, for instance, you could use this as a pack, really, if there's no castor oil on there. Or you could also use the castor oil. You put cayenne over your thyroid and you wear a pack. Cayenne is known to help wake up your thyroid a bit too. Now, if you have an overactive thyroid and you need it to slow down, you would put ice. This numbs it. Okay, then going on to that, you have Turmeric. Turmeric is amazing for mouth or dental issues. So I'll give you a personal testimony of this. I had to have a tooth extracted at the back because I ate candy. This was many years ago. I ate candy and it broke my tooth. And so I had to go have the tooth removed. So they really struggled. They got the tooth out and I had this big gaping hole in the back of my mouth. And this was when I was first coming into the health message. I was not brought up Adventist. I didn't know anything about these things. And I was just your little RN running around. And I just took what I knew, which was painkillers. But it wasn't working. And it was painful. And I couldn't eat because I kept getting food stuck in the hole. And I was a little bit miserable. So then, because I was coming into this message, I learned about turmeric. And so I thought, let me try it. I took turmeric in water and I rinsed the mouth. Let me tell you, in less than a minute, my pain went from what felt like an 8 or 9 out of 10 down to nothing. And then I spat that out, the one that I was rinsing with. Then that night, that day, I put some turmeric in water, maybe like a teaspoon in a glass of water, stirred it, and I drank it. Do you know that that hole, which had been open all week and was not showing any signs of healing, almost closed up completely overnight? And all my pain was gone. And I never had to take any more medication that day for this issue. And I never got dry socket or anything like that. I have a healthy gap at the back here with no hole. It works really, really well. If you take a clove, you can also, if you've got tooth pain, you can hold it there in that area and you can hold it. Or you can take some gauze, put some turmeric on there and hold it in the area wherever the pain is. Remember earlier I said about oil pulling? Has anybody heard of oil pulling before? Okay, so that's what you would use coconut oil for. You would want unrefined organic coconut. You only need very little because it's going to get more and more in your mouth. So what you do is you take a little bit. This really helps with the prevention of tooth decay. Some people have even said it's reverse cavities. I don't know about that. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because God's ways are amazing. But you put a little bit in your mouth and you swish like this for like 10, 15 minutes. It's not the most pleasant. It takes a while because your saliva starts building up and building up and building up. And when you have done it for 10, 15 minutes, you spit into your trash can. Don't spit in your sink because all that gunk that you've just drawn out is going in there. So you spit it in your sink. What you can do then, in your trash. What you can do then is always do another rinse with some turmeric or charcoal, like they said earlier, because the charcoal has the nice whitening effect on the teeth. Yes? Have I what? No. Probably cayenne. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, one thing I forgot to mention about cayenne, which was one of the first things I learned about, you've just reminded me, is when someone is having a stroke, if you are able to get that, or a heart attack, if you are able to get that into their mouth, for a stroke it works the same as what we would call in the UK GTN spray, which is it. And the beauty of the cayenne is that they have found that there's lots of studies that show when you take that, when that person is having a heart attack or a stroke, because what it does is it thins your blood, right? So it breaks up any clots. And also what it does is when you have a heart attack, you get damage to your heart. They have found that people that have taken the cayenne, when there's a heart attack, it has caused the heart to not have any damage, which is very incredible. And it has caused people's strokes to stop right there and then.
So, Tanya?
Yes.
How much would you put in someone's mouth that was having a heart attack? Like a fourth a teaspoon?
Yeah, like what you can get in, because what they will allow you. Yeah, because I mean that's not going to be the easiest
And
battle
they don't
to
have
fight.
to like swallow it. You just get it into their mouth.
Get it into their mouth. They're going to start absorbing it. Let them drink it. Like give them some water. Let it go into their system. Yeah, you can rub it into the gum. Any way you can get it into the bloodstream is going to be helpful. Thank you for reminding me about that. And then turmeric is really good for menstrual pain as well. Just drinking it in water. So if you know someone that experiences a lot of menstrual pain, this stuff works very, very well. If you cut your finger, cayenne pepper is a good one to put on the cut. It hurts. My husband loves it. He uses it all the time on cuts. He also experiences some sinus things, and he snorts it. And it works. It will cause, even if you drink it and you've got sinus issues, it will cause you to start draining. So you're going to get it out. Turmeric as well. If you mix the cayenne and the turmeric and you put it in water, if you've got sinus issues, sinus infection, sinus headache, you drink that, it's going to start draining. And it really helps with the pain. If someone has had if they've amputated their finger or something, what you can do is we don't all carry turmeric with us, but if you can, just carry a little bit. You put it on the area that they've amputated and put it around the limb if you can find it, and get yourself to a hospital. And it preserves the limb, and it stops infection from setting in. So then it makes the job easier for the doctors. Yeah. Yes. Yes, so both. You can use cayenne because of the high vitamin C, and the turmeric because it's
What was your question?
Sorry, the question was, are any of these good for allergies? Both of the cayenne and the turmeric are good for allergies, and the onion, because the onion is very high in quercetin, which is really, really good for allergies. And what you can even do, if you're going to ever get a supplement that has quercetin, you want to make sure it has bromelain in it. And then bromelain is the enzyme that comes from the core of a pineapple. It's very good on the respiratory system, but the quercetin and the bromelain together, you can usually get it in a capsule that come together. And in my experience, you take more than what they recommend because they give you a very conservative suggestion, and it will really help with the allergies and that nasal drip. Yes, and then golden seal for that as well. Golden seal is like good on any mucous membrane. And then I don't want to keep you too long, so we'll go on the last one. So I'm just touching very basic on things. There's a lot more to tell, but we're going to keep it simple. Magnesium. Who loves magnesium? I love magnesium. Magnesium is really, really good for pain. It's like your Epsom salt. If you have an Epsom salt bath, you have pain, you go for a massage. I always tell people that I massage, go and have an Epsom salt bath. I tell them to drink lots of water. I even tell some of them to drink activated charcoal in water, so that because when you massage someone, especially you're doing some deep tissue work, and it releases all that toxin there that's been sitting, all that stagnant blood, it needs to come out. And so magnesium is best absorbed through the skin, not orally. So this is a spray that I use, and this one actually has vitamin D3 in it as well. And I use it at nighttime. They recommend using it, like spray it on your feet, spray it on your lower back. So my theory, in my mind, why I spray it on my lower back is because your adrenals are sitting here by your kidneys, right? And if you are stressed and anxious and your adrenals are working so hard and pumping cortisol, well, I'm going to just go and relax the source. That's how my brain thinks. But what I have since come to find out and learn, and after some research, is that this makes a great deodorant. It does not have a scent, but if you spray that in your armpits will sting. Yes, they will. It will go away, and you will not smell for the rest of the day. And I tried it on myself, and there was even some information going around that they were saying that if your BO is particularly bad, that it's lack of magnesium. I can't say that that's 100% truth, but what I can say is that when I spray it under my armpits, I don't stink. And I tried it on my husband, and he doesn't stink. He smells good. That magnesium, this also helps when you're feeling anxious. You can't sleep at night. Best to take it at nighttime. Like, if you're going to do magnesium, you have your bath maybe like half an hour before bed, or spray it half an hour before bed. If you're going to do, and vitamin D is actually best to take at nighttime too. The two work very well together, but your vitamin D should be 2 hours before bed. When I worked in the hospital, we always gave it in the morning. I don't understand why, because when you look at it, you want to settle and sleep. So yes, it helps you to produce melatonin, your own melatonin, but it really, when you put magnesium and vitamin D together, I've had so many people that I have told to do that to, because they said, oh, I've been taking it in the morning, but it's not working. Oh, try it at nighttime. They do it at nighttime, and they call me, it works, I'm sleeping. I feel more calm before bed. So that concludes what I want to share with you, and I thank you for being patient and listening to all of these things, and I hope that you've had a good time.
Okay, so, yes. Thank you, Miss Tanya. She is a wealth of information. She's the one I always call. We're going to take about a 5-minute break or so. Monty is here. Monty's going to set up his table. He has some wonderful things to share with us, so I hope that you can stick around for some longer time. Also, I wanted to let you know when you came in, I don't know if you picked out some of the free stuff we had up there. We have the Amazing Health Facts. This is a wonderful magazine. I'd like for each one of you, if you don't have this magazine, to pick one up. It really just basically covers what we call the 8 laws of health. And so that's a wonderful magazine to have and to share. We also have Radiant Living magazine. It says 8 Simple Steps to Health and Happiness, which is a great magazine. They're all over here from when you came in. And then we have one from Lifestyle Matters, Balance, Mind, Body, and Spirit. And this is all about anxiety and depression and things like that, and some natural things that can help with that. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. And then when we come back, we're going to have a couple more drawings for some stuff. So stretch, get that blood flowing, get some water, use the restroom, whatever you need, and we'll continue. Learning a lot and getting a lot of information. Monty is passing out handouts, so we need to come and find our seats. I know some of you did not get all the magazines, so I'm going to put some more magazines out in a second. All right, are we ready for another drawing? I'm going to let you pick from what we have left. Does anyone have 6 $1 bills? There's your man. You're welcome. Okay, so one of the things that we are going to, up at the top, one of the things that I have to give away is this From Plant to Plate cookbook. This is one of my favorite cookbooks here. One of the things about this cookbook is it has QR codes. And the QR codes, you can scan the QR code and it will show you a video of someone making that recipe. Every recipe has a QR code. And then I have another oil blend for allergies. And then we're going to go ahead and give away the wool socks that we have. Oh, and we'll give one away of the charcoal book. So when I draw a name, you're going to get to pick from what we have here. Okay. Carla Garrels. Carla Garrels. Is Carla still here? I didn't think anyone left that came in. Oh, Clara. I'm sorry, I can't read. Clara. She left? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Don Winters, did he leave also? He was back there. All right, must be present to win. Ruth, is Ruth still here? There's Ruth. I knew I saw Ruth. She's going to come and pick from this. And then we have Harold Scott. Harold, you come up and pick. Sandy, did we call your name earlier? Okay. Yes, you were. And Mark, we put your names back in there. We should have kept them to the side. Okay. Diane Burris. Miss Diane is here. So we have a charcoal book, allergy blend, oil blend, and wool socks. Remember that you could use for treatments. Nice. All right. Ann Chambers. This is not a white elephant, so you have to pick from here. All right.
Oh, where's your clip?
This is the oil blend for allergies. Tanya makes the oil blends, by the way. The oil blends that I give away. Okay, the last one. A big old pair of wool socks. Is it Narian? Narian? Oh, yes. All right. Here you go. You're welcome. All right, Monty, are you ready to begin?
Yes, ma'am. I am
I'm
ready.
so excited about this. All right, here we go.
Good evening, everybody. I've got 3 things I wanted to explain first before we really get going. 1, I am not a medical doctor. I'm not claiming I'm a medical doctor. I'm not saying I even have anything close to a medical doctor's understanding of the physiology of the human body. Just don't know. But what I do know is some homeopath, and that's where I've worked. That's my synergy areas right there. So not only they work well, work very well. But if you are taking lots of pharmaceuticals, if you're taking, prescription drugs, if you're doing any of that, it can, either the herbs and what we use here will either counteract what you're taking or can counteract it. So when you're dealing with this kind of stuff, always do some research on your own, no matter what I say. Don't take what I say for granted. Do your own research, please. Because not all of us, like Tanya was saying before, react the same way to the herbs. And a lot of this is herbs that you find in your own cabinets. There's nothing new, and this has been done for a long time. And always, before you get on any herbal regimen, please go see a doctor first and let them know what you want to do. They'll be appreciative, and they'll be informative, and they'll be supportive. I've never found one of them that really argued with you unless there's what they call a contra to the medication in which you're on. Then they'll let you know pretty quick, okay? Switching from a chemical synthetic lifestyle of pharmaceuticals and stuff along those lines, going to a natural, if that is your choice to do, I would suggest it and strongly support it. But if you do go down that course, remember, it's going to take some time for your body to adjust to that major swing. So be consistent, but be slow and diligent in what you're doing, okay? All right. Basically, I'm focusing on cold and flus. We're coming into that season, and it always seems like a rush. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is bay leaves. Bay leaves is well, hang on here. My assistant, who wouldn't let me cut her in half, by the way. I was very upset about that.
That was his first question.
Where's my paper? Oh, there we go. Yeah, bay leaf. It's an air purifier, okay? It's an expectorant, and it's an eliminative. Does anybody have any problems with what an eliminative is? It helps rid your body of toxins, basically, is what it does. Now, one excellent way to use that is you light it in fire. You do this about 20 minutes or 10 to 20 minutes before the person's going to bed, that is your patient, be it yourself or someone else, and you just let it sit like this and sit right by the bedstand and let it go. And what this does is it purifies the air around the area. When they lay down and sleep, that smoke will slowly go into it. It's not a rush job. Herbs, by the way, work with your body. They don't beat it up, okay? So keep that in mind. Or you take 2 or 3 of them, crack them up, and drop them underneath your pillow as you sleep during the night. It's a slow release, but it is there. And again, it provides you with all these benefits. Another thing, by the way, if you want to, you can add some thyme and lavender to it, and you can get a deeper sleep than you ever thought possible if you watch out for that one. Okay, so there you go. We're going to start off with the air and the environment. We're dealing with the environment. Now we're going to step into some teas. The first tea that we're working on is called, it's basically it's mainly a respiratory maintenance tea. It's thyme and ginger. I don't know if you have ever had thyme and ginger tea before, but it is really good. I'm fixing y'all some so you guys can have a little taste of it. Thyme and ginger. Okay, thyme. It's an expectorant. Yeah. It's antibacterial, antispasmodic. Spasmodic. Does anybody know what that is? Antispasmodic. I know that there's a few RNs and stuff, and there's a doctor and stuff. What that does is it calms the nerves, which triggers your coughing and allows you to get more rest. It's antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, boosts the immune system, antifungal, antimicrobial, and it has calming effects. So besides the antispasmodic effect, the calming effect also works, especially when you're dealing with children. It helps calm them down, soothes them out a little bit. Whereas the ginger has been shown to relax airway muscles, widening the bronchial tubes, and improves the breathing. It's an expectorant, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory. You're going to notice that a lot of what I've got up here is anti-inflammatory. There is a reason for that. When your body's inflamed, it doesn't work well. Things start breaking up. They block each other and everything else. Nothing gets moved. And when nothing moves, it stagnates and creates more problems. All right, and so this tea here, and you mix this with honey, and this gives you a really nice, nutty, it's an enjoyable drink. And it's good over ice or drink it hot. So that'll take a few minutes before we can share some of that, okay? All right, the next tea that we're going to, this is a tea for when you actually have a cold, okay? Now this tea has raw onion, and that leads me into what I'm dealing with onions, okay? So we're going to break into the onion and cough syrup. Now you could take any color onion you want. Red, white, doesn't really matter. But what you do is take a medium-sized jar, put your onion in it. I'm making an excellent mess. Yeah. Okay. Now this is, where is it at? Huh? He's paid, okay? He works for the pharmaceutical companies. Do not listen to him. Okay, this is Dayquil. How many of y'all have this in your house? Huh? Does it work good for you? Can you name 3 items on the back of it? There's like 75. And I have no idea what some of these are. I'm pretty sure even Dr. Ennis would be like, I don't know. So you take you some onion, chop it up fairly decent. Now you can use either honey or sugar. Believe it or not, sugar is a corrosive. And you simply coat it. And then once it's coated, like so, you let it sit on the counter for 15, 20 minutes. I brought some. If anybody would like a taste, I do have some up here for you to taste. It's quite shockingly good. It's almost like candy. But another way of doing it is do the same thing, and you put honey on it, then strain out the onion after it's gone through. And again, it smells and tastes absolutely wonderful. That will slow down and cough. You know how children hate cough syrup? They absolutely detest it. This, if you could get it into their mouth, they'll act like they don't like it to begin with, but they'll warm up to it fairly quick. So it's easy for the kiddos. 2 ounces of raw onion, lemon juice, and honey. what is so important about the honey? I mean, the onion. Well, it's antimicrobial, inflammatory. It's an expectorant, antioxidant, immune system booster, antiviral, and it again creates a calming effect. The lemon, poor lemon, has been abused for so long. People just don't give lemon its due. It's anti-inflammatory. It reduces the amount of mucus in which you have in your body. I mean, vitamin C is fantastic for that. Antioxidant, immune system support, antiviral, study published in the Advances in Biotechnology Microbiology Journal found that lemon juice with honey can be used as an alternative medicine in the treatment of respiratory tract infections. The onion finally got its due. Didn't hit the news, but it finally got its due. I mean, the lemon did. The lemon did. Anyway, so that's why I keep bringing up the onion. Now, that phases me into the next part of onion. You take a slice of, I'll use this one. There. You have a youngster, or even an adult, can't seem to quit coughing. Cough syrup it's doing its part. Huh? Well, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, because it's got to fight through quite a bit. So what we do is we do the pincer move on that. You know what the pincer move is? Oh, a crab pincer pinches. So we took the cough syrup one way, right? So we're going to go to the bottom of the feet. You're going to take a wide Band-Aid. At first, they'll think it's weird, but they'll get over it. Take that lemon, put it on top like this, put that across the bottom of their foot, then put a sock on it, and within 5 to 10 minutes, if you walk up there and they'll talk to you, you'll smell onion coming. The onion will go through their system that fast. And you'll see that cough calm and finally come to a stop. Now, you put the socks on for a couple of reasons. One, that keeps the little ones from going ahead and kicking it off, during the night. But my grandson, he leaves it on all night long, and he sleeps great when he does that. Every time he gets too much of a cough, I do the bay leaf and the onions, and he's usually good for the night. And he has asthma. I hate to do breathing treatments, and I hate that stuff. But you got the honey one? Huh? We didn't do a honey one? Oh. The amount of honey there's so many things to mention on the honey, what it can and do for you. It's antimicrobial, and it softens the cell walls. It does an incredible amounts of good for you. Now, if you can, and Costco does have it right now, this is some Maduka honey. Now, it is a little on the pricey side, but this works fantastic. By the way, a little tidbit for you. You have constant indigestion or ulcers and stuff. Take a small teaspoon of this twice a day if you have ulcers, and before you know it, your ulcer will be gone. It will heal your ulcer. Maduka honey. It's from New Zealand. Make sure if you order it online, it says from New Zealand, not packaged in New Zealand, but that it's actually, and usually you'll have to go directly to a website. Don't go to like Amazon or anything like that. Yes, you'll have to pay for shipping if you're going to do that. And there's some levels of Maduka honey that are way up there. This is a low-grade one. It has what they call an MGO rating. And if you look at that MGO or the UMF, that would be even better. Look, this one's a 10. There's some that are like $250, but a jar like this would cost around $900. Yeah, there was a lady that her testimony on that is a raccoon ripped out the throat of her cat, a beloved pet, and they thought for sure they were going to lose it. Well, just as a desperate hope, she took a Q-tip and she put a little bit of that honey on it 3 times a day, and that cat's still with her today. It healed it all up. I was quite shocked on that one. But the honey has incredible power. it's been used for thousands and thousands of years. There's a saying from another lady I like to listen to and watch. She goes, get your hands dirty and learn something old, because there were some things back then that we need back today. All right, next one is the beloved hot toddy. All right, huh? No excitement there? Okay. Well, it's not the same hot toddy that you grew up with, I'm assuming. This starts off with one of the most powerful, she hates it. It really does. Okay, this gem right here is clove water. Clove water, that's right. Clove water has been used, you can look in the U.S. dental, what's that dental periodical? I forget the name of it. They use this all the way to, for ages. This kills parasitical. Parasites?
It's clove.
Clove water. Clove water. You want it? I filled this up with water. I put maybe, it's a clove tea. Yes. Who would like to try some? Oh, really? Okay. God, you people are psycho. All right. There we go. We'll get you some real quick. Okay, so with our, but you put it right on top of my study guide here. Oh. There we go. All right. Clove water is the basis for this, and you want it hot, okay? You take, this makes 7 cups of hot water. Bring 7 cups of hot boiling water together and put 10 cloves in there. Let it boil for a minute. Turn it off. And when you do, it'll start steaming, okay? And you want to prevent that steam from escaping. Like the old Smucker's commercials. You remember those? You want to cover it because the steam is what has the constituents that you're going to really need. Oh, it's about 10 cloves to that. 7 cups, yeah. Yeah, they used it for mouthwash. They use it for minor surgery. You can use it for muscle aches. It's a wonder drug, really is. It's been lost to time, but I think more than likely it's going to make another rise, just like so many others that have been lost in our history. Make sure Dr. Ennis gets 2 of them.
Can you add honey to it?
Yes, ma'am, you can. That's how we get our children to drink it. But here's something that the plaque that grows on your teeth is a candida. Yes, it is. And so if you do a mouth rinse for a full month, I was listening to this dentist, if you use clove water for a full month and you do it 3 times a day and you eat no sugar in that month's time or anything that contributes to the sugar, you can kill all the bacteria in your mouth that causes cavities, causes plaque. Yes, dear. It's like most teas. If you make a tea, the best idea is if you make too much, or if you want to make enough so that you don't have to continuously prepare it, you can make it for. I didn't get to see anybody's faces.
It's not bad.
He had to. It's not bad. Well, it's better if you have honey in it. But you always want to put it in the refrigerator. And this will last, yeah, well, no, I'm talking about time-wise. It'll probably last a week, 10 days at most. But anyways, back to the hot toddy. Now, my son-in-law, I guess he's a son-in-law, he had me fix him one of these hot toddies, and he drinks NyQuil all the time. So I call it the home NyQuil system because it knocked him out. He said he was talking to to my daughter, and next thing you know, he was gone. He was like la la land. He said he woke up, didn't know what happened and everything else. Terrified him, actually. Okay, so we got the clove water, and in that, believe it or not, we're going to add extra virgin olive oil. Now you may wonder, what on earth does olive oil have to do with there we go, perfect. It's antiviral, it's immune boosting. Look at that, anti-inflammatory. And it protects against lung function decline in individuals with OCPD. How about that? You don't hear very many things where they claim directly what it'll do, but that is one of them. There we go. So olive oil is an unsung hero also in medicinal world. You add that to it, and it also has this effect of grabbing hold of the mucus and pulling it forward. So when you start adding things like the juice of half a lemon, and then you're going to grate ginger and turmeric. I heard Tanya talk about the benefits of both those, and they are they're loaded with antimicrobial, antiviral, just put the anti in front of it, and you pretty much got it with those two powerhouse. They're the dynamic duel of the home remedies world, really are. And then add enough honey in there to make it enjoyable and stuff. It's going to be hard to add enough honey to make that enjoyable, because with the clove and everything else, it is a powerful hit. But my suggestion is if you're going to do that, go ahead and be ready for bed when you do that, okay? Because it does hit pretty hard, pretty fast. And you don't want to take this and drive. You don't want to take clove water in any amounts and drive heavy equipment or anything along those lines.
Well, we all have to drive home. You just gave it to all of us.
Yeah.
Just teasing you.
Yeah. In the morning, though, like I said, a mouth rinse or anything else. And let's face it, you could even, like I said, rub this in. Like I've got a sore back, and I am going to be using some of this tonight. Rub it into the back, and it kills pain. They compared it to Novocaine. They tried it, and it beat out Novocaine. What's some of those other ones? I saw a deal where they had all these case studies where they compared it to other things. Lidocaine, Novocaine. There was a couple others. Clove water actually did better in all of them and lasted longer. Okay, now we're coming to the old school stuff. And in the old school stuff is we attack at the source. When somebody's getting a cold, when somebody is getting any kind of airborne virus, where does it first attack? The sinuses, right? You get that burning, itching deep down in the sinus. So, you almost wish you can stick something there. You don't want to do that, trust me. The mucosa that's up in there is very tender and stuff, but by the time you start feeling pain means your defense systems have already failed. The pain you're feeling now is the breach in your mucosa, okay? So what do we do then? Well, we take several of our breathing treatment items, and first of all, we start with our oregano. I'm actually going to make this so you folks can smell this. All right. Oregano. 1 tablespoon oregano. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Some thyme. It's better to use dry, but if you don't have dry and you have fresh, hey, by all means, use fresh, right? Okay, so you got that. Okay, almost a tablespoon. Ginger. Get you a nice grater if you don't have one. Do what? Oh, yeah. Get ready, baby. Next one's garlic. 2 to 3 cloves of garlic. Doesn't have to be pretty. Only you're going to be the one looking at it. So let's see. Oh, bay leaves. Where is it? 1 crushed bay leaf. When I say 1 crushed bay leaf, this is the size of my bay leaf, okay? If you buy your bay leaves at the grocery store, I like to go world markets. They always have some damn bigger stuff. I don't know how that is. But you want, if you have the little one, go ahead and get 2 of them, okay? Crush that up, drop that in there. Let's see, oregano, thyme, bay leaves, lemon, okay. Lemon zest or juice, either or, okay? Yeah, let's just do the juice, shall we? This is very popular, believe it or not, at the house. All right, there we go. And then 2 cups of hot water. Now what you want to do is cover that and let it set. Let's go ahead and put it on in a deal. You want to create a cradle, especially if you're using something, go ahead. Especially if you're using something metal, okay? You're going to let that sit for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then, now this is, I have to say this because if I don't, she's going to harass me, okay? When you're doing this system here, you got to remember, you're bringing steam directly through your nasal cavity, okay? If you sit there and go, like you're out on the town and it's not a Christian town, you don't want to do that. You will burn your mucosa, and talk about starting all over at ground zero. You will definitely be there for a while. You will be miserable for weeks if you burn your mucosa up in your nasal cavity, okay? And then, but you want to draw it in slow, not hard, slow. Let it more come into you nicely, and go ahead and inhale it all the way down as deep as you can get down in there. So you want to get it down in there. You want to do about 5 to 10 seconds, 15 seconds, get several good deep breaths of this. And then pull your head out. It's a great facial too, by the way. And pull your head out. Give yourself a good 2-3 minutes before going again, okay? And do that and keep doing that until it gets cold. Now, just because it gets cold doesn't mean you have to throw this away. Put it in the refrigerator, you're done for a few hours, and in a few hours, you can come back, add more hot water to it, get that steam level back up again. Now, granted, it's not going to be as strong, but it will be somewhat potent still. Yeah, you don't really want to do it when it's real hot.
And what is this for? What does this help with?
This cleanses. This delivers directly to the mucosa in your sinuses and the back of your throat. The soothing, the anti-inflammatories of all that. It attacks the viruses at the source of where they're attacking you.
Okay.
You got to think, when your nose is under that assault, you want to smell that? Yeah. Yeah, it smells like soup. I don't know if you noticed this, but how much of that is Italian seasoning there, huh? Don't tell the pastor, okay? Because he will, yeah, there we go. Huh? So the beauty of that is that it cleanses your system. It refortifies where you're failing in the battle against whatever it is that it's attacking you.
So how long do you do this steam inhalation?
Until it cools.
Until it cools?
until there's not enough steam in there to get you anything anymore. Then you put it up, and then you can use it again later that day. That leads me to the next funnest part of dealing with a cold. How many people are familiar with this beautiful little item right here?
No, neti pot.
I saw a cringe. She is familiar. Okay. I know what you think. Oh, I hate that. But I'll be honest with you. My sinus at one point in time got so bad that I thought, that sounds like a great idea. So I tried it. And holy cow, the first time I used a neti pot, I was sick. I hate to tell you what I saw coming out of there, but it was pretty horrible. First of all, number one, you don't want to get really hot water in. You want to get barely room temperature water in there. And most people say, well, you can't do it. You got to be careful. You don't want to use chlorinated water and everything else. They're absolutely right. Use filtered water. And if you don't have, this one comes with like 60 of these things. You know, it's a little packet, and it's good enough for one. This is 1 cup of water, okay? Or in the palm of your hand, if you take sea salt, practice. You take a teaspoon, pour it in your hand, and look at that. And study that. And once you think of that, and once you've got that down in your head, you'll never forget it. You'll always remember, oh, I need a tea. Oh, yeah, that looks right. That's about what a science this is, okay? So you can use, but don't use table salt. Use sea salt, okay? Yes, ma'am. Why do I keep it in a... What did I put it in there? It's on the back of that piece of paper, dear.
The home hot toddy?
No, on the back, on the breathing
Oh,
treatment.
on the back. Other side. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Breathing treatment.
Oh, no problem, dear. No problem at all. Okay. So, but, and as I'm sure some will understand, you got to remember, you're fighting an infection. You just now gave you gave yourself an opening with the breathing treatment. Okay. So you take, you're going to do a neti pot. You're going to put 5 to 6 drops of iodine in there. Now, if there's a virus in there left, this is going to kill it. Okay? And you can get this at Kroger, CVS, anywhere. It's cheap. Okay? You don't want to put a whole bunch in there, just about 4 or 5 drops.
It's iodine?
Iodine. Monkey's blood.
Yeah, that's what we used to call it when we were kids.
Monkey's blood. But anyways, and so there you go. You do that, you dealt with your environment, you dealt with your lungs. Yes, dear. Do you combine them, is what you're asking? She's asking if you add iodine to the sea salt solution. Yes. Yes.
So it's
The
water,
sea-
sea salt, and a few drops of iodine.
Yes, ma'am. And you just run that through, and you will get some stuff out. I know you're like, I hate it. Yeah, I did too, but for the first, yes, dear. Right. That's, yeah, this little packet is sea salt. It's just a pre-measured amount. You know, I actually saw a lady in CVS buying it because she ran out of pack. She bought a whole new book. And I'm like, I told her, hey, you could do this. Didn't care. Didn't even bat an eye at that one. All right, so anyways, so we treated topically, we treated internally. Now some common sense ideas. If you're sick, or if you got a sick one that you're tending to and stuff, every day wash those sheets. Every day air that room out as much as you can. Get them into the living room and air out that room. If you cook at home, with scratch, I mean, if you cook from scratch, so you're dealing with, you have leftover cabbage, you have leftover any part of a vegetable. Get into the habit of creating a little tub inside your freezer, with a Ziploc, 1 gallon Ziploc bag, and you cut up even the skin of a lemon or whatever, skin of your garlic, put that in that bag. And then when somebody does get sick, you pull that bag out, pour it into a pot, add a few of these wonderful herbs in there, get a nice veggie broth going, and nothing is going to power the body like a good veggie broth. Now, yes, you can use chicken broth or you can use beef broth. I hear people using bone broth and all those. I would suggest not, but hey, this is home remedies. Not my home, your home remedies, not me, okay? Does anybody have any confusion or questions on this at all? Yes, ma'am. I skipped the radishes. I'm sorry. 40 lashes. Willingly take that. All right, radishes. What do you think the radishes are good for? Yeah, have you ever had, what's the sauce? Not horseradish, what is it? No, what we put on sushi and stuff? Wasabi. How many people like wasabi sauce? What happens when you eat wasabi? It blows out your sinuses, does it not? Doesn't it? Well, if you bought wasabi at a store and it was in a jar, you were actually buying radishes. Horseradish, actually. Sir? Yeah, but it is. It's harvested out of a riverbank, and you got to consume it almost immediately, or it's useless. So you had horseradish, horseradishes. All those have a fumatic way of cleansing your respiratory system. So you take a good bite of a radish, and it's like, yeah, you get that deep breath. You're sucking in antimicrobials, antiviral. I mean, it just, and again, anti-inflammatory, and you're getting all the benefits of eating radishes. So just pick at them. I love radishes, actually, and they grow really well. Grow real fast. How much time do we have, Mary?
About 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Just do what you need to do.
Fire away.
It's 5:38. No.
Do it when you're taking a shower. Okay. I know. Is the camera, am I messing up the camera? I'm sorry. Okay, here's the neti pot. Basically, you've got your solution in there. Remember, you want it room temperature. You don't want it any hotter than room temperature, okay? You lean over the sink, you tilt your head one way, you put the nozzle here, and you pour. And it goes in.
And it comes right out, as long as you don't have your head back.
Yeah, you don't want to lean back, but you want to pull
Lean
as
forward.
far forward as you can, because you want to get as much of the sinus cavity flushed as you can. And at first, you're going to be surprised, especially when you're sick, and you're leaning over, and you're like, where's it going? And you know it's not going down the back of your throat. You got that block. You're like, and all of a sudden, boom, here it comes. And when it does, you're going to just turn off the lights. You don't need to see all that. And let it go, okay? And it's going to feel odd. But I know people that do it on a daily basis. In fact, there's a machine out there now called this Navage. That's it, Navage. It's a powered one. Yeah, you just stick it right in there, and I know it's almost kind of creepy, and it pumps in one way and sucks out the other way. Yeah, it sounds disgusting, but if you think about it, it pulls all that stuff out of, and with today's air quality, going into closed spaces with other people, you have an assault on you from so many directions. Yeah, see? She's even coughing, thinking about it. Yes, dear. It will work for allergies. My mom would live here if she would just listen to me long enough to use the thing. She can't live here because of her allergies. Just wipe her out. Okay. Any other questions about cold, flu? Yes, sir. Did I really? No, I put it in there. It's graded. Yep.
No, you didn't write it down. He thought y'all were saying he didn't put it in the tea.
Oh, well, okay. 1 tablespoon grated ginger. I'm so sorry. God. See, you guys should fire me. I would suggest, and if you can, if down the line you get bold enough, you can also add turmeric into that mix as well. Yes, dear. Yes, the constituent. Yes, yes. Now, I know where your next thought is going. If you add black pepper to it, will that pronounce it even? And it will. It will magnify turmeric by, like, I want to say 400 times. Did God intend for us to do that? I think no.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
Monty, when someone asks a question, if they don't have the mic, would you repeat the question because the online people can't hear the questions?
I am so sorry, folks, at home and online. I will. She asked if this has curcumin in it, the turmeric, and yes, it does. That's its wondrous constituent. To get that, there's 2 ways of getting the curcumin out of pepper to it. Now, black pepper is something that you don't. Black pepper is something that really is not good for you. Okay. Another way is to cook it. If you take this, literally grate it up and put it in water and drink it, you're not doing yourself any good. People from India will tell you you're wasting the spice. You're just drinking expensive water, and that's all and you're going to have expensive urine by doing so. So cook it. An excellent way if you want to get on a turmeric regime. Take oat milk or a nut milk, a cup of it. Cut off 2 to 3 inches of your turmeric, grate it up pretty nice, put it in that, and slowly cook it on the stove. And then if you want to, you can add a drop of honey to that or whatever. I tried this yesterday. It was fantastic. I enjoyed it very good. It was really good. So, yeah, I would avoid the black pepper. Something that's supercharges like that, it's usually not good. It's like, is oxygen good for you? Well, yes. Is 100% oxygen good for you? No. Nope. Ask the doctor, what happens at 100%, sir? Huh? Yeah, there are times when it's needed, but it's not something you want to do on a regular basis, that's for sure. Okay, enough of the cold and flu system. Now I'm being petty. I'm promoting my next class, which is next month on the Marine Corps birthday, which is 10th. My wife is going to, do you mind doing some of that? Okay, we're going to get you some of this tea here that I promised you. And if anybody wants to try that after I'm done, feel free, you can come up and get that. But I'm doing a canning and ferments class. One of the great things about this is a food preservation class that I'm doing, but the reason why I insisted on having the ferments class in, and there are people who are going to argue with me, vinegar I do not believe is good or healthy for you. It's brutal on your gut biome, and there are better ways to enjoy a pickle. If you want a good crisp pickle, learn to ferment. I got 3 different ferments here. I've got a ginger carrot ferment. I've got a dill onion ferment. And my favorite, I have to be honest, is cauliflower ferment. Now, the cauliflower ferment, why do you have that look on your face? You're going to try it, aren't you? Maybe? Okay, well, that's something, I guess. Anyways, and so I'm going to cut up some of this, and I would like to pass around to y'all. And there is purple and white cauliflower back, by the way, in here. That's why the color went so bizarre. And this is full, I mean, just packed of probiotics. How many people like sauerkraut? I love sauerkraut. Really? You want a good recipe? You like avocado toast?
Yes. I like avocado toast.
You like sauerkraut? Yep. Anybody like watching What's Up, Prof?
Yes.
Okay, Martin. Anybody, Martin Smith? He was talking about a dessert of his. Oh, perfect, because these weren't going to work very well. I was hoping something like that was around. Martin Smith, one of his favorite things for breakfast is avocado toast with sauerkraut on top of it. Now, I thought, that doesn't sound very good. It is great. It is fantastic. And my family looks at me strange too. So feel free to look at me odd if you want to. Anyways, and if you're going to buy sauerkraut online or at the grocery store, if it's not in the refrigerated section, it doesn't have any probiotics because they cooked it to a point where it made it shelf stable. What's wrong? Okay, this again is the ginger thyme tea. Okay, this is an excellent one for lung maintenance. If you've had bronchitis, if you've had OCPD, you had any of these lung issues, COVID caused a lot of damage in people's lungs. Long-term COVID is still an issue today. I'm not saying that this will heal it. I'm saying that this is a maintenance program here, and it's fantastic. I saw you brought a spoon. Oh, no, you didn't. Okay, you got a slotted spoon. That'd be even better. Huh? You got to remember it's medicine. It's not supposed to be super awesome. I see that look. I see that look. Yes, I've even got a fennel extract at the house. Excellent. I mean, you don't have any maple syrup. There we go. If you folks want to come up, feel free. Okay. What's that? Honey?
The one that they found in the Egyptian
Yeah.
pyramids.
Yes. Feel free.
Yeah. No, that's the other one.
All right. I made this for her, by the way, so she loves onion. Yeah, that's just. What'd you get, the cauliflower? Ferment is made with, believe it or not, brine water. That's it. Brine water is salt water. Yes.
She's going to have a whole class on this coming up. So when is your class on the fermentation?
November, I'm sorry, November 10th.
November the 10th.
Yes. We're going to spend 2 solid hours on it. And yeah, there we go. I'm so sorry. I opened the floodgates. This is how to clean the stalls.
I take oregano capsules.
Do you? The problem with taking stuff like that, you never know how it was stored or how it was processed. Better to grow your own oregano. It's easy enough, and it loves it down here. It loves the environment down here. Oh, yeah. I know what you want. You want the carrot, don't you?
Yeah, I try them all.
The carrots, by the way, they were multicolored carrots. They were the, the rainbow.
What's that, dill?
Keep the color
Yes.
and what would lose the color too, so it was a lot about experimenting.
What's that?
Dill.
Dill. I'm sorry about my hand use. Anybody else want a carrot?
Yeah.
But we can cut them.
You want to
No, I've got a whole jar.
take them sideways? Here.
Yes, ma'am.
Master has spoken.
This is easier than using the little cup.
Yeah, I know.
The carrots are.
Mine too.
Kids
Mine
like
too.
the carrots.
I want to thank everybody for being patient and staying. I know that this was kind of a late evening and stuff for y'all, but I hope these things actually help you, and I hope you use them.
You want it in a cup? No. Oh, okay. It doesn't matter. Thank you. Cauliflower also? Yes. Thank you. Cauliflower?
You like the cauliflower?
Here, I'll take one of these. There you go. That'll have it. Cauliflower. Thank you.
Those are the different honeys. Did
you get the
would you like to try? Let me get my spoons. Excuse me.
Which one didn't you get? Cauliflower?
How do I turn this thing off?
Everybody's gonna
Aaron,
have it all over their hands.
are we still rolling? Thank you, everybody at home.
I thought it was